Wang Xikong said, seated cross-legged on the cooling mat. I'll team up with the beast. You and Wang Yu will be partners. The losing team has to swim naked in the sea. Are we playing for such high stakes? He Yujun asked, surprised. Of course. If we're gonna play, we should go big. After the banter, Wang Xikong declared, enough talk. Let us deal the cards. Just as he was about to say more, Wang Yu delivered a playful punch to him. The cameraman diligently streamed their antics, while the accompanying cameraman followed Wang Xikong and Qin Fun to film Xi Mengyao, He Chaolian, Zhu Jingyi, and the others. They had ventured out, their whereabouts unknown. The popularity of Wang Yu's live stream surged as Wang Xikong and the others gathered, drawing in viewers by the droves, nearly rivaling the evening's audience. Could someone please explain the rules of Guangdan? I'm a bit lost here. I'm confused. How did Wang Yu just play 7 threes? What is this? I can't comprehend it at all. Surely the individuals above must be oblivious to this. The game of Guangdan originated from the Huayan region and has recently gained immense popularity among the affluent circles. Many prominent figures are indulging in Guangdan, rendering bridge less fashionable. It is no wonder that when it comes to playing Guangdan, they all seem to concur. It is evidently a trend among the wealthy. Perhaps it would be prudent to learn it, in case it becomes useful one day. What a splendid idea. To begin with, Wang Yu is the first to deplete his hand of cards. In card games, it is paramount to remember both your own and your opponent's plays. As long as one's memory is sharp enough, victory is almost guaranteed. Fortunately, Wang Yu possessed an impeccable memory. Anything he had seen was indelibly etched in his mind. Thus, he effortlessly triumphed in the match. As the turn fell to the loser to deal, 27 cards fanned out in a semicircle in Wang Yu's hands. He cast a cursory glance at his hand. It was secure. Wang Yu's cards could be deemed an extraordinary start. A subtle smile graced his lips as he played a pair with nonchalance. The next player pondered for a moment before opting to pass, as did his counterpart. In this round, no one was a match for Wang Yu. The situation gradually clarified, with Wang Yu's teammate, He Yujun, cooperating seamlessly, strategically playing cards to disrupt their opponents, thereby creating advantageous conditions for Wang Yu's offensive. Wang Xikong and Qin Fun began to exhibit signs of anxiety, desperately seeking opportunities to turn the tide. Could it be that Wang Yu was truly playing on a different level? How could he be so adept at cards? As the game progressed, Wang Yu seized the opportune moment to discard a straight flush, 9 and 10, instantly mesmerizing the entire table. With victory within reach, Wang Yu deliberately slowed his pace, keenly observing his opponent's reactions. As their tension mounted, their plays grew increasingly flawed. At last, only one card remained in Wang Yu's hand. A smile danced at the corners of his mouth as he remarked, I apologize, but it seems I am about to win again. With the final card laid down, He Yujun exuberantly high-fived Wang Yu, securing yet another round. A wry smile crept across Qin Fun's face as he commented, why take it so seriously? A little leniency wouldn't hurt. At that moment, Wang Xikong, with a glint in his eye, proposed, consider yourself lucky. He Yujun has been aiding you throughout. I suggest we switch teammates each round. Fine, that works for me. The next round commenced promptly. They played on until 5 in the afternoon, with Wang Yu and He Yujun predominantly claiming victory. Wang Xikong and Qin Fun were left feeling utterly despondent. They had come to realize that Wang Yu had merely been toying with them, often allowing them to win. During such moments, He Yujun showcased his true prowess, revealing a level of intelligence worthy of the most formidable brain competitions. How formidable was their skill? Viewers watching Wang Xikong and Qin Fun's bewildered expressions erupted in laughter. How presumptuous to think they could win against Wang Yu and He Yujun. Wang Xikong and Qin Fun wondered, who am I? Where am I? How have I lost again? This round was undoubtedly a crushing defeat of intellect. The expressions of Wang Xikong and Qin Fun were utterly hilarious. It would be fitting to enshrine this match in the annals of Guangdan history, a memorable scene where affluent magnates were overwhelmed by sheer intelligence. The moment Wang Xikong suggested changing teammates, I knew he had yet to grasp reality. After this round, the legend of cherishing one's wallet and steering clear of Wang Yoha and He Yujun is bound to circulate in the card-playing community. I'm done. This is utterly meaningless. Wang Xikong exclaimed, tossing his cards aside with a disdainful expression. Wang Yu glanced at the 3 defeated players before him and smiled. It seems that I'm the only one who has lost more than I have won. Shouldn't you fulfill your wager? What? Are you serious, Wang Yu? Qin Fun leaped up in astonishment. Of course. This was all agreed upon beforehand. Millions of viewers are watching. Do you think you can back out? Wang Yu replied, a mischievous grin on his face. The sight of their embarrassment brought him immense joy, lifting his spirits. Chapter 408. Imagine yourself as a mermaid. Don't even think about reneging. The viewers in the live stream are watching, Wang Yu reminded them. The audience quickly grasped the situation. Oh, I almost forgot about the wager. Why isn't the male god the one losing? Just say it if you want to see the naked body. I want to see it too. Though there was too much to see, this incident would undoubtedly lead to their social demise online. Wang Xikong, Qin Fun, and He Yujun clearly came to the same realization. He Yujun quickly pleaded, please don't. We'll be socially dead online. Right? Wang Yu, let us change the wager. This is really unacceptable. Qin Fun clasped his hands together, begging. Anything else would be fine, as long as it's not swimming naked. Wang Xikong wore a bitter smile. They simply could not allow Wang Yu to have his way. Wang Yu, however, was intent on making things difficult for them. He had only been joking before and never truly expected them to swim naked. Even if they dared, he had no desire to witness it. How about this? I want to make it too hard on you. Wang Yu pondered for a moment before proposing, you can wear swim trunks. That's acceptable. Simple enough. As long as it's not naked swimming. Wang Yu smiled. Let us go now. Wait, I haven't finished speaking. Why the rush? What other request do you have? After all, we are brothers. Wang Xikong cautiously interjected, attempting to appeal to Wang Yu's conscience. Wang Yu suppressed a laugh. It's nothing too demanding. I just need you to perform synchronized swimming in the ocean. Surely, that's not too much to ask? The expressions on Wang Xikong, Qin Fun, and He Yujun's faces instantly froze. Are you kidding me? This is worse than swimming naked. Synchronized swimming? Such a rare performance is something they could manage. But for several grown men to execute those movements, wasn't that somewhat undignified? No choice. No choice. Please, let's change it. Not a chance. Ha. Wang Yu's tactic is truly ruthless. Synchronized swimming is far worse than swimming naked. I suggest applying for the Olympic men's synchronized swimming event. Wang Xikong's trio could be the first team. I'm ready with the recording materials. He Yujun interjected. I'm a scholar, not a dancer. Wang Yu, appearing gentle yet cunning, had devised a plan that was even more socially damaging than forcing them to run naked. I have already begun to envision a scene of 3 burly men clad in swimming trunks performing synchronized swimming, a sight so exquisite that I dare not gaze upon it. Wang Yu understands what we wish to see. The viewers in the live stream room erupted into chaos. Countless media reporters excitedly captured screenshots and recordings, preparing to release the first-hand accounts and seize the maximum traffic. Wang Xikong and his companions were nearly in tears, with Qin Fun lamenting the wager he had previously proposed, which had now ensnared them. The group trudged toward the seaside, the sand on the beach having been scorched by the sun throughout the day, rendering it blisteringly hot. Wang Xikong and his 2 companions, donning blue swimming trunks, stood in a row, resembling 3 penguins dragged ashore. Qin Fun tugged at his waistband, rolling his eyes dramatically. Wang Yu, are you certain this is synchronized swimming? I hope your eyes remain unscathed. Ready. Begin to twist your waists. Wang Yu disregarded him entirely, issuing the command. He Yujun was the first to awkwardly twist his upper body, his coordination utterly failing, his movements resembling a malfunctioning robot. Wang Xikong attempted to mimic the graceful gestures from the video, but his fingers splayed awkwardly, accompanied by a grimace that was utterly bizarre. Most absurd was Qin Fun, a grown man fidgeting in the most peculiar manner, causing Wang Yu to nearly split his sides with laughter. Extend your movements. Imagine you are a mermaid. Wang Yu trembled with suppressed laughter nearby. I might as well be Medusa. Wang Xikong bellowed, kicking a grain of sand, only to lose his balance and spin around, landing heavily on the beach. The viewers' comments exploded. I've taken screenshots. This is too hilarious. Wang Xichong's tumble deserves a nomination for the year's best comedic moment. Any film award would pale in comparison. Is He Yujun's waist welded in place? It's as rigid as my doorframe. And what about Qin Fun? Can you face the camera, please? After enduring until the water segment, as the 3 stepped into the shallows, they were promptly knocked about by the waves. Qin Fun attempted to strike a buoyant pose, but ended up slipping and colliding with He Yujun's swimming trunks. Oh no, damn it! He Yujun shrieked, clutching his waistband as he dove into the ocean. Wang Xikong burst into hearty laughter. Shortly after, Wang Xikong attempted to recreate the water spin from the video, but, burdened by excess belly fat, spun like a top, ultimately floating on the surface. I can't go on. If I continue, I'll be ruined. In the distance, the cameraman and crew were doubled over in laughter. The director, Shi Yining, stood nearby, witnessing the scene and exclaiming, "What talent!" As Wang Yu watched the 3 floundering in the water, he could no longer contain himself and crouched on the beach, laughing uncontrollably. All right, I'll let you off the hook. Wang Sicong and his companions emerged from the water, their expressions resembling those of wronged little wives. Upon returning to the shelter, He Chaoyan and Shi Mengyao had already returned. With some free time on their hands, they took He Chaoyan's suggestion and went to gather beautiful flowers and attractive leaves. Earlier that morning, while accompanying Wang Yu into the forest, she had encountered a type of yellow flower, which prompted her to bring a few of the girls back to collect some. Inside the room, they scattered their finds about. Upon their return, Wang Yu and the others were greeted by a transformed room, vibrant with an array of flowers and greenery. Surrounding the house were potted plants nestled within shells, artfully arranged to enhance the aesthetic. The exquisite shells served as delightful embellishments, undeniably a testament to the feminine touch. Women, in their endeavors, not only prioritize practicality, but also exhibit a keen interest in flora, and such adornments elevate the spirits of onlookers. The sweet fragrance of blossoms wafted through the air from afar. Observing her creation, He Chaoyan smiled faintly. The fruits of her labor invariably evoke a sense of exhilaration. Although the wooden cabin appeared modest, far inferior to her opulent home, the effort she poured into it rendered the experience entirely distinct. Yet, something still felt amiss. He Chaoxin gazed thoughtfully at the flowers and greenery before her when she noticed Wang Yu and the others returning. Shi Mengyao, seeing the dejected expressions on their faces, curiously inquired, "What have you been up to?" Naturally, He Yujun could not confess the mortifying incident that had just transpired in front of Shi Mengyao, merely stating that they had taken a stroll along the beach. The sun began its descent, casting a warm glow as evening approached, signaling the time to prepare dinner. After completing their tasks, it was rare for Wang Yu to take on a role of chef. He entrusted this demanding responsibility to He Chaoxin and the other young ladies. "I will dive into the sea to catch some fish for dinner," Wang Yu announced, grabbing a net before plunging into the depths of the ocean. The spot he chose was rich with coral, approximately 20 meters deep. This depth was not shrouded in darkness. Rather, the sunlight illuminated the underwater realm in all its glory. A kaleidoscope of colorful fish darted around him, while vibrant corals adorned the surroundings. After exploring the seafloor for a while, Wang Yu began his meticulous search for sea cucumbers, recalling how delectable they had been on his last encounter. However, his deliberate quest proved challenging, as these creatures often hid beneath the sand or nestled within coral crevices, habits that allowed them to thrive in the vast expanse of the deep sea. Only small fish could access these nooks, leaving the sea cucumbers unharmed. Moreover, the environment was teeming with microorganisms and various sediments, fulfilling their needs for survival. After a thorough search, Wang Yu managed to uncover over 20 specimens before ceasing his efforts. He then caught a fish that had been particularly enjoyable the previous day and gathered a generous handful of seaweed before returning to shore. The evening's feast was bountiful, with the dinner table adorned with an array of enticing dishes that tantalized the senses. Skewers of barbecued wild boar and neatly arranged meat skewers filled the table. The ingredients Wang Yu had sourced from the sea were expertly prepared, harmonizing with other delicacies to create a sumptuous banquet. Fragrant roasted sea cucumbers, steamed sea fish, cold seaweed salad, and a delicious soup of seaweed, fish, and coconut milk. Of course, there were also braised wild boar, dried wild boar, stir-fried intestines, and spicy pig trotters, each dish contributing to a table overflowing with culinary delights. The young women had meticulously prepared a fruit salad, featuring fresh coconut, pineapple, mango, and bananas freshly picked that day. This refreshing dish added a vibrant touch to the sumptuous dinner. The table was adorned with a delightful array of dishes, harmoniously blending flavors, colors, and aromas. Everyone gathered around, savoring the delectable cuisine amidst bursts of laughter and warmth, creating an atmosphere of joy. As night descended, the cameraman concluded the live broadcast, stating, "Wang Xiao, this will be the end for us here. I shall take my leave." "Very well," Wang Yu replied with a nod. Wang Xizong stretched lazily and remarked, "Finally, the show is wrapped up. I'm off to bed, for tomorrow awaits." He Yujun and Qin Fan also retreated to their respective rooms. However, before He Yujun entered her room, she cast a playful glance at He Zhao Xin, her face betraying a suppressed smile. He Zhao Xin appeared to be burdened with thoughts as she followed Wang Yu and He Zhao Lian to the threshold of their room. Wang Yu, glancing up with a smile, said, "If you follow us any further, you'll be home." He Zhao Xin gasped, her cheeks flushed with a rosy hue, and she turned to flee. Yet, Wang Yu grasped her wrist gently, smiling as he said, "Since you've come this far, why not stay? Let us rest here tonight." "No," He Zhao Xin murmured softly, Yet she offered no resistance as she walked with Wang Yu into the room. She awkwardly perched on the edge of the bed, her face as red as a ripe apple. He Zhao Yin occasionally teased her, only heightening her embarrassment. I'll go take a shower, Wang Yu chuckled, casting a playful glance at He Zhao Xin before heading toward the bathroom, leaving the two sisters alone in the room. Once Wang Yu had entered, He Zhao Xin covered her face with her hands, exclaiming, "Oh, sister, what should I do? I feel so shy." And now you realize your shyness? He Zhao Yin hugged her, offering comfort. Weren't you quite bold this morning? That was in the past, He Zhao Xin pouted, her expression teetering on the brink of tears. A flicker of fear crossed her eyes as she whispered, Sister, is Wang Yugu really formidable? What do you mean by formidable? He Zhao Yin feigned ignorance. Oh, please, don't toy with me. I mean in that regard, He Zhao Xin retorted. All right, I won't jest any longer. He Zhao Yin bit her lip, feeling a stir of emotions as she added, You'll soon find out for yourself. I can only say that your Wang Yugu is anything but ordinary. If you manage to get out of bed normally tomorrow, it will be a small miracle. Is he really that impressive? He Zhao Xin gasped, a look of fright spreading across her face. Indeed, He Zhao Yin tossed her hair back, reassuringly saying, Do not be overly anxious. I will assist you. Hearing this, He Zhao Xin finally relaxed a bit. She glanced toward the bathroom, a flicker of anticipation igniting within her. She had longed to be Wang Yu's girlfriend, and now her wish was on the verge of being fulfilled, yet the reality made her heart flutter with trepidation. Before long, Wang Yu emerged from the bathroom, his hair still damp, draped in a bathrobe that loosely framed his lean shoulders. Water droplets cascaded down his neck and disappeared beneath the robe's collar. He Zhao Xin instinctively clenched the hem of her clothing, her gaze fixated on him and unable to look away. In this moment, Wang Yu was enveloped in a mist of steam, exuding an unusual aura of languor rarely seen in him. Her cheeks flushed with warmth, and she quickly lowered her head. What was she dawdling for? Wang Yu approached, towel in hand, his fingers inadvertently brushing the top of her head. You should go take a shower. It's already quite late. He Zhao Xin responded with a brief but as she stood, she was caught by He Zhao Yin, who tugged at her wrist. Let us go together. He Zhao Yin winked at her, a teasing smile gracing her lips. I'll help you pick out a cozy nightgown later. Inside the bathroom, steam billowed, and the sound of the shower echoed. He Zhao Xin gazed at her flushed reflection in the mirror, her curves accentuated, her heart racing like a drum. He Zhao Yin handed her a strawberry-patterned towel, leaning in closer and lowering her voice conspiratorially. What are you so nervous about? It's not a monster. It's your brother Wang Yu, after all. Yet, He Zhao Xin hesitated, saying, Sister, you won't blame me, will you? He Zhao Yin suddenly sobered, carefully smoothing He Zhao Xin's damp hair. Blame you for what? This is your choice, and mine as well. Wang Yu is truly exceptional. Having another person like you around will only help drain some of his energy, preventing him from seeking out other women. He Zhao Xin nodded, her brow furrowed in contemplation. Is that so? Wang Yu uncorked a bottle of exquisite red wine, sipping it leisurely. Time passed, and finally, the bathroom door creaked open. He Zhao Yin emerged first, wrapped in her towel, playfully extinguishing the room's lights. Wang Yu's gaze shifted behind her. He Zhao Xin peeked out timidly, only stepping into the dim light once the bulbs flickered off. A smile crept onto Wang Yu's lips. Did she think he couldn't see just because the lights were out? How naive. At this moment, He Zhao Xin was clad in an exceedingly alluring ensemble. A delicate pink bunny costume complemented by thigh-high white stockings, leaving Wang Yu parched and igniting a flicker of desire in his eyes. He set down his wine glass and swiftly swept He Zhao Xin into his arms. Ah, He Zhao Xin gasped, only to be silenced by Wang Yu's kiss. Her legs turned to jelly, a wave of sweetness washing over her, her eyes sparkling with affection. She melted into a puddle in Wang Yu's embrace. Meanwhile, the once clear night sky darkened with clouds, and a light rain began to fall, accompanied by a rising wind, muffling the sounds of what should have been a lively room. Chapter 410. The Andes laughter the following morning, the gentle rain from the previous night had subsided. The cameraman had been waiting at the front door, pacing anxiously. It was already 8:28, yet Wang Yu and the others showed no signs of departing. In the same building, He Yu Jun and Shi Meng Yao, along with the neighboring Wang Xizong and Qin Feng, had long returned to the spot where Wang Yu had set up the shelter, eagerly anticipating the commencement of their broadcast. Director Shi Yining wore an expression of concern, murmuring softly, What should we do? Why haven't they come out yet? He dared not enter to urge. If Wang Yu were to become angry, he could not bear the consequences. There was no other choice. Let the broadcast commence. Sure, Ening said helplessly. Very well. The screen of the live stream, shrouded in darkness, suddenly revealed the corrugated iron house. The audience and various media hosts, who had long awaited in the live stream, were instantly invigorated. Their impatience had reached a boiling point, prompting them to send barrage comments to alleviate their emotions. Finally, the broadcast has begun. If it didn't start soon, I would have to report the program for inappropriate content. Where's the male god? What's taking so long? Is the production team financially strained? Can't even afford to bring out Won Yu? Meanwhile, on site, director Shi Ening wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, slowly approached the camera, and smiled. Dear audience and fans, thank you for your patience. Last night, the island experienced rain, which dampened the shelter. And Wang Xiao is feeling somewhat unwell. He may need a moment before joining the program. The barrage erupted in a cacophony of skepticism and concern. Zen, what a joke. I checked the weather forecast, and it was clear skies on the island yesterday. The production team Shu and T try to fool us with such a flimsy excuse. It's truly laughable. If Wang Yu got drenched in the rain and is now unwell, it's quite an affront to his formidable prowess. If you're going to make excuses, at least make them credible. Who would believe that? Director Shi Ening feigned calmness, glancing at the barrage display screen, and continued to explain. Please trust us. Wang Xiao is genuinely facing an unexpected situation, and we are doing our utmost to coordinate. We will certainly provide everyone with a satisfactory response. However, the audience was not convinced. The insults in the live stream surged like a tidal wave, and the gifts and rewards came to a near standstill, all directed at the director. Just then, the door of the corrugated iron house was suddenly pushed open. Wang Yu emerged, clad in custom-made silk beach shorts from Hermes, paired with limited-edition straw sandals, sauntering out lazily. Upon seeing Wang Yu, Shi Ening felt a wave of relief wash over him as he wiped the sweat from his brow. Wang Xiao, you have finally made your entrance. My apologies, everyone. I was delayed by a minor issue. Wang Yu addressed the camera. The previously furious fans in the live stream gradually settled down. In light of your sincerity, I shall forgive you. Now that I see the male god is not ill, I am at ease. I was so worried. By the way, the male god has such a great sense of style. This outfit enhances his looks even further. Who was it that threatened to report the production team? Now I'm begging for extended airtime, just to gaze a little longer at the male god. Look at the director. He looks like he is about to soil himself. This is too amusing. At that moment, He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin emerged from behind Wang Yu. Observant netizens immediately noticed He Chaoxin's peculiar gait. Upon closer inspection, they also spotted the telltale hickey on her neck. It dawned on them. Netizen, what is that on He Chaoxin's neck? Am I hallucinating? Oh my goodness. Is that red mark on He Chaoxin's neck for real? Could it possibly be Wang Yu's doing? Her walking style is also odd, and her knee appears slightly swollen. What on earth happened last night? How peculiar. Is this what the male god meant by being delayed? That kiss from He Chaoyan was simply too sweet. I have already sent out a smile reminiscent of an ant's. The sight of Wang Yu surrounded by lovely companions is something I can observe for free? How infuriating. Regardless of the dissatisfaction expressed by netizens, Wang Yu feigned ignorance. A group of them arrived at the location of the sanctuary. The others were absent, leaving only Qin Fan and a few chefs outside. Bored, Qin Fan was sipping kanji when his eyes lit up at the sight of Wang Yu and his companions. Just in time, I've cooked seafood porridge. He scrutinized He Zhaoxing, Wang Yu, and He Zhaoyan, remarking with a tinge of envy, Wang Yu, you're impressive. You've even won over Sister Zhaoxing. Truly infuriating. What do you mean by won over? It is love that has brought us together, Wang Yu smiled. Indeed, he was truly embraced on both sides. To his left, the graceful He Zhaoyan, and to his right, the cheerful He Zhaoxing. It is no wonder Qin Fan felt envy at this scene. The chef presented the seafood porridge to the trio. As Wang Yu accepted the white porcelain bowl, the fragrant steam enveloped him. The rice, simmered to tenderness, had absorbed the broth, with a layer of golden crab oil floating atop, adorned with sprigs of green onions and delicate slices of ginger, creating a feast for the eyes. He Zhaoyan blew gently on the hot kanji. As the porcelain spoon brushed her lips, the delightful flavors exploded on her tongue. The springiness of shrimp, the tenderness of shellfish, and the creaminess of rice intertwined, infused with the briny essence of the sea and the sweetness of grains, with the richness of crab oil leaving a lingering aftertaste. She couldn't help but squint, her ears tinged with a hint of red. This porridge is delightful. He Zhaoxing, disregarding decorum, cradled her bowl and slurped heartily. She sighed contentedly. the strawberry mark on her neck becoming all the more prominent. It felt as if she had come back to life, her body refreshed. Though last night was quite the whirlwind with Wang Yu, her gaze towards him now held no trace of resentment, only joy. Wang Xikong stepped outside with a bowl in hand. Just a glance was enough for him to discern the situation. Wang Yu and his companions had not begun their live broadcast within the designated time, leading him to suspect what was happening, which was now confirmed, igniting a pang of jealousy within him. What window has fate closed on you? Wang Xikong pondered helplessly. Reflecting on his own circumstances, he felt utterly incomparable. Surrounding him were mere internet celebrities or socialites, interested solely in the wealth he possessed. He wouldn't be surprised if one day his money ran out, and his family faced bankruptcy. Those women would vanish without a trace. Yet Wang Yu was different. He could distinctly sense that the women around Wang Yu genuinely liked him, and their connection was not solely based on financial gain. He Zhaoxing was the prime example. The wealth of the He family was unmatched, even by the richest in Huagua, including his own. Moreover, it was He Zhaoyan who had taken the first step in courting Wang Yu, a situation that was beyond his comprehension. Money did not seem to attract such women, and Wang Xikong could not fathom why these women were so fervently drawn to Wang Yu. Wang Yu, aside from his wealth and familial influence, his height and good looks, what else does he possess? That typical bro-like demeanor of his is even less appealing to women than his. Wang Xikong cast another glance at Wang Yu's extraordinarily handsome face, feeling a pang of frustration. He would never admit it, not even under duress. It seemed that Wang Yu indeed had the potential to thrive solely on his looks. Chapter 411. The Senior's Cave after breakfast. Wang Yu initially intended to venture into the forest with Wang Xikong and Qin Fun to hunt for wild boars, indulging in the thrill of the chase. However, at that moment, the director stealthily approached him, signaling for a private conversation. What is it that requires immediate attention? I was planning to take Wang Xikong and the others into the forest, Wang Yu remarked, furrowing his brow at Shi Yining. With a cheerful demeanor, Shi Yining handed him a piece of paper and explained, "It turns out, your antics by the seaside yesterday were quite a hit among fans. Many have been sharing those videos and memes. I arranged for some games to be designed overnight, and shortly, we will announce them in the live stream and gather Deng Zhao and the others to join in." He understood that the excitement of exploring the forest far surpassed the amusement of playing games on the beach. Viewers were more inclined to watch these young gentlemen embark on daring adventures into the unknown. Yet, such exploration inherently posed risks, and he could neither afford nor dare to send these wealthy heirs into perilous situations. Thus, they would stick to simpler games. Wang Yu glanced at the note in his hand. The rules were straightforward, reminiscent of challenges from his previous life. It posed no difficulty for him. All right, he nodded, acquiescing to the director's proposal. Satisfied, Shi Yining turned to leave, as he was the director and dictated the direction and narrative of the program. Wang Yu was merely seeking greater recognition, and he had little else to contend with. He merely awaited the conclusion of today's live stream before returning to Macau. As he was about to head back, a shadow suddenly appeared before him, kneeling on one knee. "Young Master Wang." Wang Yu halted, puzzled. "What is it?" The shadow rose, hesitating to speak while respectfully regarding Wang Yu. At that moment, another figure emerged, Dark Falcon. Witnessing this, Wang Yu was taken aback. Typically, they would not approach him unless there was an imminent threat. Was there an urgent matter at hand? Had that colossal octopus sea creature returned seeking revenge? Alarmed by the thought, Wang Yu was about to voice his concerns when a shadow interjected, sensing his misinterpretation. "Young Master Wang, it's not about the sea creature." He glanced at the nearby camera and whispered, "Could we discuss this in a more secluded location?" "All right." With a mind full of questions, Wang Yu followed them to a remote area away from the filming zone. A cluster of rocks by the seaside seemed suitable, as it was seldom frequented. Once they arrived, Wang Yu turned to the shadow and Dark Falcon and said, "Is this place acceptable? Please, disclose the matter at hand." At this moment, both Shadow and Dark Owl wore expressions of unreserved delight as they spoke. "Young Master Wang, we may have encountered an opportunity left by our predecessors." Opportunity. Upon hearing this, Wang Yu's spirit was instantly invigorated. Indeed, it was an opportunity. Shadow glanced into the forest and slowly continued. "Do you recall the barren hill you encountered at the island's center yesterday?" "I remember," Wang Yu replied, furrowing his brow. Dark Owl then took over the conversation, adding, "The 2 wild boars you hunted were taken back by Shadow. I followed closely behind you, and upon reaching the vicinity of those hills, I sensed something amiss." "What was out of place?" Wang Yu questioned, recalling how he had meticulously examined that peculiar mound just yesterday. even using his piercing gaze without detecting anything unusual. Yet, it was evident that Dark Owl was not jesting. There I could perceive a faint, indistinct aura of murkiness, and its quality was notably high, at least on par with the fourth realm of murkiness, left behind by a master who had absorbed and merged with the aura of troubled thoughts. Moreover, it has been gradually dissipating. Dark Owl continued. However, I refrained from bringing this up yesterday, as I needed to ensure your safety, especially with Miss He Chaoyin and Miss He Chaoxin accompanying you. Wang Yu, perplexed, asked, what does sensing the aura of the fourth realm imply? Aware that Wang Yu had limited understanding of the cultivation of murkiness, Dark Owl hastily explained, Young Master Wang, you may not know that murkiness exists throughout the world. It is often singular and chaotic. Only when martial artists absorb it into their bodies and continually condense, it can transform into their own essence, which differs significantly from the visible aura of murkiness. Warriors of the murkiness realm can recognize it at a glance, especially when it comprises multiple strands of murkiness. So what? When you still struggle to grasp the significance of this? Isn't it just high-quality murkiness? Why the excitement? Dark Owl deliberated. Let us consider this. We are over 6,000 kilometers away from Huagua, on a deserted island. It is improbable for a master to reside here long-term. It is more likely that a senior expert has sat in meditation here, leaving behind traces that are now gradually fading. You may not realize this, but many predecessors, when nearing death, seek out a secluded cave in hopes of breaking through their realms. If they fail, it becomes an opportunity, one that could yield remnants of invaluable treasures. Then let us go see. Perhaps we will uncover something worthwhile. Wang Yu's eyes sparkled with excitement, his heart racing at the thought of discovering a cave belonging to a senior master, filled with treasures that could grant him immense power. Young master, there may be dangers within. You should wait outside while we investigate, Shadow cautioned. Fine, let us proceed cautiously to prevent others from discovering it first. Wang Yu waved dismissively. Upon returning to the shelter, Wang Yu approached He Chaoyin and He Chaoxin, withholding certain details before sharing his findings. He Chaoyin's fingers trembled slightly at the mention of the opportunity left by Senior Master. Could this be too perilous? She inquired. Indeed, Brother Wang Yu. Perhaps we should let Shadow and Dark Falcon handle it. I trust they will not act selfishly. He Chaoxin was reluctant for Wang Yu to take the risk. It was far too perilous. If anything were to happen to him, she would be at a loss for what to do. She even suggested accompanying him. Wang Yu hastily declined, saying, You must stay behind. If danger arises, I would have to ensure your escape. You must promise. He Chaoxin murmured, burying her head against his chest. Wang Yu gently caressed her hair and reassured her, I promise. Stay home and wait for my return. It will be swift. He Chaolei felt a twinge of reluctance, but she understood that Wang Yu's decision was unchangeable. All she could do was silently pray that nothing would go awry. Wang Yu exchanged a brief greeting with Director Shi Yining, not even glancing back to see if he received an acknowledgement. With Shadow and Dark Falcon in tow, he ventured into the depths of the forest. Shi Yining, overwhelmed with despair, slumped to the ground, lamenting, What am I to do? Chapter 412. The platypus without He Chaolei by his side this time, Wang Yu unleashed his full speed within the forest, agile and nimble, darting through the trees with remarkable swiftness. Shadow and Dark Falcon effortlessly kept pace with him, appearing quite at ease. Any unwary snakes or other creatures encountered along the way were swiftly dispatched by Shadow and Dark Falcon. Having previously visited the mountain's waterhole, Wang Yu, Shadow, and Dark Falcon swiftly arrived at their destination. Nearby, on a banana tree, a group of monkeys, once scattered due to their leader being bullied, had returned. They curiously awaited the arrival of Wang Yu and his companions. Wang Yu, however, was not focused on them. Instead, he noticed a peculiar little creature in the waterhole. Leaning down, he scooped it up. Is this a platypus? He mused, tugging at its black duck bill, which remained firmly attached. This platypus was indeed a curious sight, its body enveloped in fine, deep brown fur that shimmered under the sunlight, resembling a furry hand warmer. As Wang Yu lifted it, its plump little paws flailed about, while its flat tail flapped like a small fan. Most striking was its duck-like bill, soft and elastic. Dark Falcon glanced at the platypus and cautioned Wang Yu, Be careful. Young master, the platypus has venomous spurs on its hind legs. Oh. Wang Yu looked down at its hind legs and indeed spotted 2 sharp spurs attached. Shaking his head, he gently placed it back in the water. This little creature was rather unique. Had he not seen it in books, he might have believed its bill was sewn on by humans. Suddenly, a slightly plump monkey at the forefront of the tree recognized Wang Yu. Remembering how he had been bullied before, it let out an enraged roar, forgetting the chaotic escape from earlier, determined to assert itself once more. The remaining monkeys, initially filled with curiosity, transformed their expressions into rage, erupting into frenzied screams. The cacophony echoed across the hills, sending every creature within a kilometer into a hasty retreat. Fearful of impending danger, the monkeys leapt and shrieked, hurling the unfinished bananas in their grasp towards Wang Yu and the shadows, displaying a surprising vendetta. Wang Yu smiled faintly, sidestepping a banana that came hurtling toward his face. The rain of bananas and peels posed no threat to them, as they deftly evaded every projectile. The shadow, irritated by the incessant screeching of the monkeys above, suggested, "Shall I drive them away, young master?" "No need. I shall handle this," Wang Yu replied nonchalantly. With that, he leapt nimbly upwards, swiftly ascending to the treetop. The surrounding monkeys, startled by his arrival, scurried away in panic. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The leader monkey, taken aback, shielded its kin. Provoked further, the monkeys bared their teeth at Wang Yu, launching an array of objects in his direction. Wang Yu merely chuckled, effortlessly dodging each attack. He rapidly approached the leader monkey. Whoa! As Wang Yu beheld the barrage of bananas raining down upon him, he was momentarily taken aback. Leaping from the tree and thrusting his finger forcefully into the banana tree to evade the onslaught. Wiping the sweat from his brow, he muttered indignantly, "Where on earth did they learn such disgusting tactics? If I hadn't been quick on my feet, I would have been drenched in filth." Once the wave of assaults subsided, Wang Yu seized the opportunity, darting forward to capture the leader. Suspended in midair, the monkey frantically clawed at Wang Yu's face. In response, Wang Yu delivered a swift, admonishing tap. The leader's fierce glare softened, its demeanor shifting to one of fear and trepidation as it gazed up at Wang Yu. "That's more like it," he remarked, observing the monkey's disarray in light of their leader's capture. "It seems the lesson from our last encounter didn't stick. You dare to attack again? Quite bold of you." Wang Yu, controlling his strength, playfully flicked the monkey's forehead. Although the force was mild, it brought tears to the creature's eyes. Noticing its distress, Wang Yu withdrew his hand, inquiring, "Next time you see me, will you still dare to hurl banana peels at me?" The monkey shook its head vigorously, fear evident in its eyes, resembling a docile puppy. Pleased with the monkey's newfound obedience, Wang Yu nodded approvingly and released his grip. Once back on the tree, the monkey did not flee immediately. Instead, it called out to its companions nearby. Soon, another monkey responded to the command. A monkey swiftly approached, clutching a bunch of bananas, and menacingly bared its teeth at Wang Yu before offering the bananas to the leader. The leader, cradling the bananas with both hands, cast a sycophantic glance at Wang Yu and presented them to him. "Is this for me?" Wang Yu inquired, somewhat taken aback by the situation. What was the meaning of this monkey's behavior? Had it awakened some peculiar trait? Unlike the last encounter, where it had fled immediately after being struck, it now brought forth a gift. As if comprehending Wang Yu's words, the monkey anthropomorphically nodded. Upon seeing that Wang Yu did not accept the bananas, it appeared disappointed but still placed them at Wang Yu's feet. Wang Yu's gaze sharpened. This monkey seemed extraordinary. Its intelligence was remarkable, capable of understanding his words. Lowering his gaze, he addressed the monkey. "Can you understand what I am saying?" The monkey nodded and then shook its head. It became quiet, looking less grotesque and more agreeable. Wang Yu did not ponder further. It was not unusual for an intelligent monkey to grasp simple speech. "Very well. I shall spare you this time. Should you dare to attack me again, it will not be so simple," Wang Yu declared, waving his hand dismissively. "Chirp, chirp." The monkey softly called out before scurrying back. It chattered excitedly to its fellow monkeys, and the previously shrieking crowd gradually quieted, though they still regarded Wang Yu with a hint of wariness. Wang Yu leapt down to the ground. "Let's continue our journey." "Yes, young Master Wang." Shadow and Dark Hawk replied respectfully. In the heart of the island, for small hills stood in close proximity to one another. The distance between the bald hill and the nearby one was just over 2 kilometers. The surrounding forest grew increasingly dense. Chapter 4:13. Keep pushing forward. Is blue not an option? The path they had taken was arduous, yet it paled in comparison to the current conditions. Here, vines and branches intertwined, creating an impenetrable barrier that made movement within exceedingly difficult. Shadow and Dark Hawk drew their daggers and took turns clearing the vines and branches, skillfully carving a path through the dense foliage. Fortunately, both were accomplished practitioners, and a noxious energy coating their blades easily sliced through the entangled vines. As they forged ahead, Wang Yu appeared far more at ease, leisurely following in their wake. Half an hour later, the trio arrived at the barren hilltop. Wang Yu looked up. The hill stood over 100 meters tall, sparsely adorned with a few low trees and shrubs. The ground below was exposed, revealing rocks and black soil. What struck Wang Yu as peculiar was the profound silence enveloping the hill. He could not spot a single bird. Turning, he glanced back at the path they had traversed. It is rather peculiar that just a dozen meters away from the foot of the small hill, the trees are sparse, yet further back, life flourishes abundantly. One can easily spot various insects and amphibians. This bizarre scene gradually ignited excitement within Wang Yu. Dark Owl, the murky energy you sense must originate from this place, right? Indeed, Dark Owl replied, his gaze fixed solemnly upon the small hill. Wang Yu surveyed the area and casually inquired, "There's nothing remarkable here. This cave must be within the mountain, correct?" "Based on past experiences, it could only be inside the mountain," Shadow remarked. "What shall we do? This is a deserted island, and summoning an excavator would be quite troublesome," Wang Yu lamented, feeling somewhat distressed. He doubted that just a few of them could hollow out such a mountain, which stood over 100 meters tall. Although he referred to it as a small hill, he only compared it to the towering mountains in his hometown of Rome province, which often exceeded 1,000 meters in height. In contrast, this was indeed a small hill, yet it was not something that could be excavated by human effort alone, and they lacked the luxury of time to waste here. Both Shadow and Dark Owl shared his unease. "Mr. Wang, please wait here, Dark Owl, and I'll go investigate," Shadow declared, refusing to remain idle, and he and Dark Owl ascended the hill. Wang Yu had no intention of joining them. The atmosphere was too strange. For the sake of safety, it was wiser to stay at the foot of the mountain. Having lived over 40 years in both past and present, he understood the importance of discernment. It was better to be cautious in such perilous circumstances. Once Shadow and Dark Owl had cleared the area of threats, he would ascend. After a considerable time had passed, Wang Yu still had not seen any sign of Shadow and Dark Owl's return. He found a smooth stone to sit on, took out his phone from his pocket, and began to scroll through music, trying to alleviate his boredom. Suddenly, he heard a sound behind him and turned to look. "What brings you here?" he asked, noticing over a dozen monkeys perched on the branches behind him, the leader unmistakably among them. It was Plump, with a coat of brownish-yellow fur, effortlessly leaping from branch to branch until it reached Wang Yu's side. The other monkeys, clutching various fruits, followed suit and gathered beneath the tree. In front of Wang Yu, the leader had shed its previous ferocity, and its demeanor appeared quite docile. A thunderous rumble erupted from the mountaintop, akin to an explosion, reverberating incessantly. Wang Yu glanced up, unconcerned, presuming that Shadow and Dark Owl had located the cave's entrance. The monkeys, startled by the noise, became agitated, save for the leader beside Wang Yu. The others dropped their fruits in fear and scampered up the trees to hide. Observing the trembling monkey before him, its eyes reflecting a hint of terror, Wang Yu gently stroked its head. To his surprise, the texture was quite pleasant. With Wang Yu's soothing gesture, the monkey's fearful expression gradually faded, returning to its usual playful demeanor. "So, have you come to deliver fruits to me?" Wang Yu gazed at the array of fruits scattered about, his face adorned with a broad smile, reflecting on the scene before him. Coconuts, mangoes, and various unknown fruits surrounded him, yet there were no bananas in sight. He pondered how these fruits found their way to this dense forest. Did the absence of bananas lead them to believe he had no taste for them? Had they deliberately gathered other fruits for his enjoyment? Chirp, chirp, chirp. A monkey scribbled haphazardly, occasionally gesturing towards the fruits on the ground. Wang Yu graciously accepted its goodwill, grabbing a coconut and deftly puncturing a hole in its tough exterior, offering it to the monkey before him. The creature's joy was palpable as it witnessed Wang Yu's effortless opening of the coconut, and it promptly seized the fruit, indulging in the refreshing coconut water. With a slight smile, Wang Yu opened another coconut, for after traversing the forest for the better part of the day, he too felt parched. In no time, he had consumed the entire coconut, even devouring the tender flesh within. The thunderous sounds emanating from the mountain had not ceased, and Wang Yu found himself increasingly restless, eager to ascend and uncover the cause of the commotion. What plight had Shadow and Dark Owl encountered? Just as his impatience peaked, the cacophony finally subsided, and soon enough, he spotted the silhouettes of Shadow and Dark Owl descending the mountain. As they approached, Wang Yu noticed their faces were drawn and troubled. He inquired, "What has transpired? Why such a tumult?" "We investigated the mountain thoroughly and found no immediate danger," Shadow replied, frowning as he continued, "but we detected a foul energy emanating from the peak. In our efforts to locate its source, We discovered it was leaking from a concealed entrance at the summit. After fruitlessly searching for a mechanism, Dark Owl and I resolved to breach the mountaintop. Upon nearly leveling it, we uncovered a formidable door, shielded by a protective array. Our attempts to breach it were futile as the malevolent energy swirled, rendering our assaults ineffective. Dark Owl chimed in. The foul energy I sensed was indeed seeping from within the array. Given its dissipating rate, it appears the array will persist for several more years. Even with our relentless bombardment, it would likely take over a month to dismantle it. Wang Yu felt a profound disappointment wash over him. He had not anticipated such enduring resilience from this hidden sanctuary. Is there truly no alternative? He queried, unwilling to accept their disheartening assessment. None. Both Shadow and Dark Owl replied, shaking their heads in unison, affirming the lack of viable solutions. With a resigned sigh, Wang Yu motioned for Shadow and Dark Owl to guide him up the mountain. Strangely, the monkey, for reasons unknown, exhibited no fear of the enigmatic hill, trailing closely behind Wang Yu. In contrast, its fellow monkeys cowered at the base, refusing to venture forth despite their leader's fervent calls. Chapter 414. The eerie door. Wang Yu cast a discerning glance at the monkey that had chosen to accompany him. Something about it seemed amiss. Shadow nodded in agreement, remarking, "This monkey may possess an extraordinary lineage, exhibiting a degree of intelligence. Alas, it cannot proceed any further." The Dark Owl also shook his head, expressing his regret. Observing the clever demeanor of the monkey, one could surmise that, should it advance further, it would undoubtedly become an extraordinary spiritual beast in the world. However, at present, it still lacked a few strokes of fortune. Moments later, Wang Yu and his companions, accompanied by the monkey, arrived at the mountain summit. The air atop the peak was foul, with 100 square meters of the summit forcibly flattened, the rocks exhibiting an eerie honeycomb structure. Their surfaces marred by deep brown corrosion, resembling decayed wood ravaged by countless woodworms. A gentle touch would cause the crumbling fragments to fall away like fine powder. The ground glistened with an oily sheen, an ethereal white mist spiraled upwards wherever they tread. The monkey hunched its back, its fur bristling, and suddenly emitted a sharp cry. Leaping onto Wang Yu's shoulder, its claws gripping his collar tightly, trembling in fear. Wang Yu patted the monkey's body and then inquired of the Shadow and the Dark Owl. "Where is the grand entrance?" "Right in the center of the summit." Wang Yu followed the direction indicated by the Shadow. Not far away lay a pit of considerable size, still exuding wisps of white smoke. Approaching the edge, Wang Yu peered downwards. The pit descended approximately 10 meters, revealing a dark abyss with a black door standing ominously at its base. The Shadow and the Dark Owl leaped down without a hint of concern, well aware of Wang Yu's formidable abilities. Wang Yu followed suit, and the monkey emitted a piercing cry, clinging desperately to his clothing, its expression one of sheer terror. Once in the spike-back dragon form, he did not relinquish it. Wang Yu lightly tapped the wall to mitigate his descent, quickly reaching the bottom of the pit. He gazed up at the imposing iron door before him. Standing at the pit's base, his eyes glimmered with intensity as they meticulously scanned the iron door. The rusted door panels bore patterns resembling scars etched by time, concealing profound mysteries. These designs were not mere carvings, but Taoist incantations, winding and coiling, as if a mysterious force coursed through them. Upon closer inspection, the patterns along the door's edge resembled entwined chains, with the chains interlacing as though they ensnared ferocious beasts. Their menacing visages bared and clawing, yet confined within a minuscule space, each line emanating a sense of oppression and struggle. At the center of the door panel, an intricate totem was delineated with elaborate lines, resembling a variant of the Taiji Bagua symbol. The contours of the yin-yang fish faintly emerged, yet were dissected and distorted by countless minute lines, exuding an indescribable malevolence. Even more chilling were the Taoist incantations subtly revealed within the crevices of those lines. The characters appeared ancient and powerful, as if inscribed in blood, and though they had endured the passage of time, they still radiated an imposing aura. The incantations were cryptic and obscure, with Wang Yu able to discern only a few scattered words. Terms such as seal, subdue, and evil recurred, each word seemingly imbued with boundless power, rendering him unable to meet their gaze directly. The Shadow and the Dark Owl had already positioned themselves before the door, their expressions equally solemn, captivated by the door's bizarre patterns and incantations. The monkey trembled on Wang Yu's shoulder, emitting a series of whimpers, as if it sensed the terrifying aura concealed behind the grand door. Wang Yu's expression grew solemn as he remarked, "What an eerie door. Merely gazing at it brings an unsettling feeling. Young Master Wang, you cannot perceive the ominous energy because you have not yet attained the state of a murky chi martial artist. A short distance ahead lies an array that shrouds this place. Until the murky energy is fully dissipated, entry is utterly impossible." Shadow sighed, yet he remained vigilant, fully alert to their surroundings. They did not allow themselves to relax or grow careless simply because they stood outside the cave, regardless of the treasures that may lie within. Ensuring Wang Yu's safety was of paramount importance. Wang Yu furrowed his brows, refusing to give in. He activated his Eye of Insight to peer at the door. The Eye of Insight allowed his vision to penetrate through the door, yet all he beheld was an impenetrable darkness. Wang Yu sighed. He often felt powerless in the face of such extraordinary phenomena. Upon returning to the Magic City, he resolved to complete more tasks, earn points, and exchange them for valuable items. As the Eye of Insight proved ineffective, Wang Yu activated his Eye of Truth to gaze upon the door once more. Item: eerie door inscribed with Taoist mantras. Ability: not viewable. Note: this is an ominous door. A corresponding key is required to open it. Upon reading the details displayed by the Eye of Truth, an expression of surprise crossed Wang Yu's face. A key? He cautiously stepped forward, but abruptly halted about a meter from the door, as if an unseen force barred his path. He concentrated on the door. Suddenly, Wang Yu's pupils dilated in shock. He beheld the deep-set patterns of the Tai Chi Bagua, which, in a mere breath, glimmered with a sinister azure light, as if an ancient beast that had slumbered for millennia had awakened. In the positions of the yin-yang fish's eyes, two crimson glimmers like blood droplets hovered, flickering with each breath, while the surrounding patterns spread like a spider's web, each crevice flowing with a dark golden liquid, neither blood nor mercury, reflecting an eerie halo as light danced upon it. At the edges of the depression, the arc of the Tai Chi diagram was etched with fong-like notches, and 8 trigrams twisted into chains that spiraled from all directions toward the center of the depression. When Wang Yu's gaze fell upon those chains, he faintly heard the sound of clinking chains, reminiscent of countless vengeful souls wailing. Strangely, a subtle humming resonated through the space, as the sound waves reverberated. Wang Yu felt a throbbing at his temples, and a metallic tang filled his nostrils. A coppery taste surged in his throat, and blood trickled slowly from the corner of his mouth. "Young Master Wang, are you all right?" Shadow and Dark Owl exclaimed in alarm, swiftly supporting Wang Yu's body. "I am fine. There is no need for concern," Wang Yu replied, wiping the blood from his mouth with a smile. "I believe I have discerned the method to unlock the door." As soon as these words left his lips, Shadow and Dark Owl's eyes brightened with hope. Wang Yu continued, "Look at the depression in the Tai Chi Bagua. It seems to lack a certain object. As long as we can locate this object, or rather this key, it should unlock the grand door before us." Upon hearing this, the Shadow swiftly stepped forward to inspect. His gaze erupted with a dazzling golden light, only to be met with some unseen force that caused him to stagger back with a muffled groan. "Ha! Young Master Wang, your speculation is indeed accurate. This must be the key to opening the cave," the Shadow exclaimed with unrestrained delight. However, Dark Owl's expression soured as he remarked, "But where shall we find this key? The door is inscribed with Taoist incantations and mantras, likely left behind by an esteemed Taoist master. Yet, Taoist artifacts are often governed by fate. If it is not meant for you, it shall not be yours. What shall we do now?" Chapter 415, Fate. Wang Yu furrowed his brows in concern. Are we to return empty-handed today? Although we have discovered a means to open the door, where in this desolate wilderness can we find the key? Must we truly force our way through? He had ample time, but he could not risk attracting unwanted attention, which could lead to complications. Would it not be wiser to enter quietly? Suddenly, his body jolted as a cold, mechanical voice echoed in his mind from the system. Ding. Special scene detected. Daily task issued. Explore the cave. Daily task: please find the key to the door within 3 days and enter the cave for further exploration. Completing the task will reward you with 100,000 points. Wang Yu's expression shifted as he scrutinized the task displayed on his personal panel. 100,000 points was no trifling sum. Upon completion, he could acquire desired items from the marketplace. The limitations of the Eye of Truth were indeed significant. Many things remained unclear. Upgrading this ability was paramount, and he must also seek other attributes to enhance his strength. Currently, this seems to be our only option, the Shadow awkwardly stated. However, there may be a better approach. Wang Yu's eyes sparkled with curiosity. What other method do you propose? Speak swiftly. Since we are at a standstill in locating the key, our only recourse is to rely on brute force. The shadow did not hesitate to reveal, considering the circumstances here. You could report to the commander, requesting the assistance of some skilled individuals to arrive overnight. With their aid, the protective formations here will pose little threat. Breaching them would merely be a matter of time. Influenced by the shadow's suggestion, Dark Owl too came to a realization and turned to Wang Yu, young Master Wang. The shadow's proposal is indeed sound. Inform the commander and arrange for trustworthy personnel to come here, allowing us to enter the cave more swiftly while also mitigating potential crises within. This truly is a commendable plan. Upon hearing this, Wang Yu's furrowed brow relaxed. Their suggestion was indeed astute. If he contacted his grandfather now, they could arrive by plane shortly. The task issued by the system was constrained to a 3-day limit, perfectly aligning with their timeline. Several individuals returned to the summit, where Wang Yu stepped aside and took out his phone to dial his grandfather's number. Gazing at the distant azure sea, he awaited the response from the other end. After a considerable pause, an elderly and soft voice emanated from the phone. "My dear grandson, what prompted you to call me?" "Hey, Grandpa, I just missed you," Wang Yu replied with a broad smile, realizing he hadn't contacted his grandfather for quite some time and felt a tinge of nostalgia. "How have you been lately?" His grandfather, Wang Zhaojun, reassured him. "I'm in good health. I could easily live another 10 or 20 years. His voice was imbued with kindness, revealing a deep concern. "Are you enjoying yourself abroad?" "Dear grandson, I must say, I'm quite surprised you've taken an interest in participating in a variety show." Wang Yu understood his nature well. He was not the kind of person who enjoyed being in the spotlight. This decision to join the show truly astonished him, leaving him a loss for a rational explanation. With a calm demeanor, he smiled and said, "It was merely a coincidence that I arrived on this little island, where I happened to encounter the crew filming an extreme challenge program. He Chaolian thought it would be entertaining, and after facing some danger, it was a chance to unwind." He attributed the decision to He Chaolian. After all, she would bear the brunt of the blame. He certainly could not explain to his grandfather that he joined the program to gain greater recognition and fulfill a task. Upon hearing Wang Yu's words, his grandfather did not dwell on the details, but upon hearing He Chaolian's name, his voice rose significantly. "That child, Chaolian, is wonderful. Your grandmother has been having the nurses show her your live streams ever since she learned you were participating in the show. She is particularly fond of Chaolian. You better not be irresponsible. Make sure to bring these girls home for a meal when you have the time." Wang Yu chuckled awkwardly. "Grandpa, I understand. I'll bring them home for you to meet." "You rascal." His grandfather laughed lightly, teasing, "You and your father were quite similar in your youth, easily captivated by beautiful girls. Both of the He family's daughters have fallen for you. Aren't you afraid their father will come after you with a cane? What can I say? It's your charm that draws them in. Girls simply adore your type." Wang Yu grinned. "If there is anyone to blame, it's merely the excellent genes of the Wang family that make me so appealing to girls." His grandfather's hearty laughter resonated through the phone. "Good. As long as you are happy, that's all that matters. But tell me, when can I expect my grandson to fulfill his promise? It's been quite a while since you started dating. Why is there no news? Don't try to play tricks on me." Your grandmother is eagerly waiting to hold her grandchild. Wang Yu paused, contemplating a troubling thought. Given his robust health, it seemed improbable that, after such an extended period, Long Lily and the others had not conceived his child. He had always been one to charge forth without precautions. After all, he had been with his first girlfriend, Zhang Ro, for several months. How could there be no signs of a response? They could not possibly resort to medication. If they were to conceive his child, they would be elated rather than distressed. Yet, the current outcome is that they have not conceived. Wang Yu could not help but ponder. Could it be due to the system? Or perhaps influenced by their physical constitution? Shaking his head, Wang Yu mused that it might simply be a matter of unfortunate luck, as there had been no response thus far. In order to fulfill the elder's wishes, Wang Yu felt an undeniable responsibility, and thus he could only toil on behalf of He Chaolian and the others. "All right, Grandpa, I can only promise to do my best," Wang Yu smiled. "You rascal." After urging Wang Yu, the elder inquired, "Did you call again because you encountered trouble while exploring the cave?" "Yes, Grandpa," Wang Yu replied, not surprised. It was likely that the Shadow and Dark Hawk had relayed the news to the elder. "We discovered a mysterious gate on a small hill at the center of the island. According to the Shadow and the others, it should have been left by a Taoist immortal. However, the gate is protected by a formation," Wang Yu elaborated, leaving no detail unmentioned. The elder's voice remained calm, devoid of any turbulence, as he said, "Since it can be breached directly, I will arrange for a few people to find you immediately. But remember, just leave these matters to them. Do not act foolishly and enter on your own, in such a cave left by a master. No one knows what traps or hidden dangers may lie within. Wait for them outside. Any valuable items, the shadow and the others would not dare to conceal for themselves. Understood, Grandpa. Wang Yu ascended. He still intended to enter the cave, not for any other reason, but because completing the system's task would yield a reward of 100,000 points. He could not afford to miss such an opportunity to gain points. However, to prevent his grandfather from worrying, he could only deceive him slightly. Chapter 416. Truly fortuitous. After hanging up the phone, Wang Yu turned and walked down the mountain. The monkey on his shoulder with its fur standing on end gradually relaxed. They had no means to enter here, merely left to stare blankly. The individuals arranged by the elder would not arrive until nightfall. For now, it was best to return. There was no need to rush. Upon reaching the base of the mountain, the monkey troop had not departed. Instead, they awaited their leader's return in the trees, observing them. The monkey that had been perched on Wang Yu's shoulder chirped a couple of times before leaping down and rapidly climbing up the trees. The young master. This monkey is indeed clever. If it were a little younger, we could have found a way to awaken the bloodline within it. What a pity, the shadow remarked. Wang Yu nodded, a smile gracing his face. This monkey was rather amusing. Had it not been so unattractive, he would have considered keeping it as a pet. Alas, its appearance was too unsightly for his taste. If only it were not a monkey, Wang Yu would have gladly cared for it for a lifetime. Let us depart. We have lingered here long enough. By this time, it was already noon. If they hurry back, they might still catch lunch. After speaking, Wang Yu turned and retraced his steps along the path they had come. The sounds of the monkeys' laughter and their lively chatter have echoed for 2 centuries. Wang Yu could only exclaim, "How delightful! If I were to take you away, you might refuse, wouldn't you? Ha! These monkeys have grown accustomed to the wild. This is truly their home." Ning glanced at the troop of monkeys following them and smiled. Indeed, Wang Yu nodded in agreement. Suddenly, he paused, lifting his gaze toward a monkey perched on a nearby tree. A thought emerged in his mind. He called out to it. The leader of the troop, a notably intelligent monkey, swiftly descended from the branches. Ning observed this scene with curiosity, asking young Master Wang, "What's the matter?" Wang Yu did not respond. Instead, he crouched down, smiling at the monkey, which was only knee-high. "Have you seen anything peculiar on the island? Perhaps beads or rectangular stones?" As he spoke, he gestured with his hands, attempting to convey his meaning to the monkey. He reasoned that since this monkey was quite clever and had lived on the island from a young age, it might have encountered the key to a cave. It was not beyond the realm of possibility. The cave was located at the heart of the island, and the key could very well be lost somewhere on its grounds. Ning, noticing the situation, smiled slightly and remarked, "Young master, asking it to find the key may be a bit too much. Perhaps it could fetch you something to eat instead." "It's fine. I just want to give it a try," Wang Yu replied casually. He gazed at the monkey, which appeared puzzled, realizing that mere words would likely be insufficient for comprehension. After contemplating briefly, he took out his phone and searched online for images of keys or jade plaques. He then held the phone before the monkey, pointing at the pictures, saying, "Little monkey, do you recognize any of these? If you help me find a key, I will arrange for a cart full of fruits to be brought to you, many of which you may have never encountered, so you can indulge." He swiped through the images on his phone, attentively observing the monkey's reactions. Suddenly, the monkey leapt up, its furry paw accurately tapping the screen, emitting a series of rapid squeaks, its tail excitedly sweeping across the ground. Wang Yu's eyes lit up instantly. The monkey's response clearly indicated recognition. He quickly brought the phone closer, examining the image. Ning leaned in, the smile on his face fading slightly, his expression turning serious. Could it have truly seen this before? Wang Yu remained silent, his gaze fixed on the monkey. The monkey extended its claw, gently tapping on an ancient jade plaque displayed on the screen. The plaque was uniquely shaped, its edges adorned with cloud patterns, and it featured a carved design resembling a beast, yet not quite one. "Have you seen this?" Wang Yu's voice involuntarily rose as he pointed at the jade plaque, pressing for answers. The monkey seemed to understand, nodding vigorously and chattering excitedly while pointing at the image. It then leapt onto the trunk, nimbly weaving between the branches, before darting like an arrow into the depths of the forest. The monkeys, in their exuberance, closely trailed behind. Without hesitation, Wang Yu swiftly tucked his phone into his pocket. Dark Shadow and Dark Owl exchanged a glance, and the trio commenced their pursuit. Dark Shadow forged ahead, brandishing his trident with an impenetrable fervor. Under the corrosive influence of the murky air, nothing could impede their relentless advance. Even when confronted with the obstruction of vines, their pace remained swift. barely keeping up with the nimble monkeys leaping among the branches. The formation of the three remained tight-knit, steadfastly pursuing the golden figure that danced ahead. Before long, the monkeys abruptly veered towards a steep slope. Wang Yu's pupils constricted as he caught sight of the shimmering ripples at the base of the incline. "What is this?" he exclaimed. "Why have we returned?" The trio navigated through the dense foliage and arrived at the edge of a waterhole. Staring at the monkeys perched upon the surrounding banana trees, they found themselves momentarily bewildered. After making such a long detour, how had they ended up back here? Had they misinterpreted the monkeys' intentions, perhaps merely yearning to return home? Squeaking incessantly, a monkey descended from the tree and tugged at Wang Yu's pant leg. Though puzzled, he followed the creature as it led him toward a nearby, resounding hill. Dark Shadow and Dark Owl promptly followed suit. Minutes later, under the guidance of the monkeys, they reached a cave halfway up the mountain. The natural formation was modest in size, yet sufficient to shelter over 100 monkeys from the elements. This must be their lair. Numerous mother monkeys cradled their young ones, curiously observing the return of their leader with guests in tow. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement. No wonder the previous monkeys were absent from the banana trees below. They had all returned to their sanctuary. The monkey once more extended its furry paw, tugging at Wang Yu's pants to signal him to follow. They arrived at a designated spot where the monkeys stored their fruits and food. Wang Yu's gaze sharpened as he spotted a dull jade tablet. Dark Shadow hurried forward, retrieving the jade and presenting it to Wang Yu. Wang Yu scrutinized the tablet closely. Its ancient design featured a carving of the mythical beast Bishi, adorned with swirling cloud and dragon motifs. However, atop Bishi's head, a single horn protruded sharply, glinting with an icy radiance. The surface was tarnished with grime and exuded a foul odor. Dark Shadow, beaming with delight, remarked, "Young Master Wang, fortune truly favors you. As predicted by Chun the Lame, the key to the cave has so easily found its way into your hands." Wang Yu tossed the jade tablet back to Dark Shadow, casting a glance at the fruits and crabs scattered on the ground. No wonder it reeks. They've been using this tablet as a bottle opener. Chapter 417. Displaying affection, the monkey leader, upon seeing Wang Yu acquire the jade tablet, immediately began to leap with excitement, its tawny fur bristling with exhilaration. It extended its claw, pointing at the unique horn on the jade tablet, then gestured towards the crab and coconut shell on the ground. Wang Yu smiled, saying, "Indeed clever. I shall have the fruits you requested sent over shortly." He glanced around and continued, "I never anticipated that you would also consume crabs and fish." He had heard that monkeys sometimes ate small birds or insects to supplement their protein intake, but it was the first time he learned of monkeys indulging in seafood. Perhaps this was a consequence of their island dwelling. Those who rely on the mountains feast on the mountains, and those by the water feast on the waters. The trio descended the mountain, but the monkey chose not to follow. Dark Shadows washed the jade tablet clean in the stream, transforming the once dull surface into a luminous artifact, radiating an extraordinary aura. They turned towards the seaside, heading to their shelter, delaying the exploration of cave left behind by its master. Since they had arranged for skilled individuals to join them, it was prudent to wait. The task's deadline was 3 days, ample time, and Wang Yu intended to enter the cave personally to examine it. Safety was paramount, and he valued his life dearly. The scarecrow, a mere life-saving tool, offered little in terms of security. With a swift pace, they reached the shore in just over 10 minutes. Wang Yu observed the shelter, where fragrant smoke wafted upward, and smiled. "It seems we have arrived just in time. Lunch is ready." Upon reaching the shelter, the chefs had prepared a sumptuous meal, and He Chaoyan, He Chaoxin, and Wang Sikong were ready to dine. Deng Zhao, Dili Riba, and Zhou Sheng were also present, having gathered for lunch after a morning of games. Spotting Wang Yu and his companions returning, Wang Sikong stood up and called out, "Wang Yu, where have you been? If you don't hurry back, there may not be any left for you." Wang Yu smiled, explaining he had taken a stroll in the woods just in time for lunch. Upon seeing Wang Yu return, He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin felt relieved, as they had been concerned about his exploration of the cave left by the esteemed predecessor. The camera crew turned their lenses towards Wang Yu without hesitation. The online audience expressed their discontent through comments, voicing their frustration. "You know you're on camera, right? Who is this handsome young man? I don't recognize him." "So disappointing. I came to see my idol, and he vanished after just a brief appearance, leaving us in the dark. After an eternity, he finally reappears. I suggest the production team keep Wang Yu's footage glued to the screen." He Chaoxin, who had been glum all morning, brightened at the sight of Wang Yu, her joy evident. "Director, don't give Wang Sikong any more camera time. We want to see our idol." Upon Wang Yu's return, Shi Yining visibly relaxed, her tense expression easing into relief, nearly moved to tears. The discontent among the online viewers had escalated since Wang Yu's departure, their anger palpable. The viewership in the live streaming room has plummeted dramatically. Numerous unscrupulous media outlets have distorted the truth, maligning Extreme Challenge across the internet, claiming that the production team merely paid for Wang Yu's presence for 2 days, thereby deceiving the audience. Many bewildered individuals, seething with anger, nearly resorted to cursing his ancestors. They have long harbored a pent-up frustration, and upon seeing Wang Yu's return, they dare not express their ire, instead feigning smiles at the dining table. After all, his status is far from ordinary. Were it any other celebrity, regardless of their stature, they would have been promptly dismissed. Wang Yu insisted that Shadow and Dark Hawk join him at the table. They, too, did not hesitate to comply. This was not their first encounter. They understood that Wang Yu treated them without prejudice, despite their identities. Wang Yu picked up his chopsticks and began to eat heartily, instantly alleviating the hunger that had built up after a busy morning. His appetite surged. He Chaoyan and He Chaoxan barely touched their own meals, frequently serving him dishes, their affection almost overflowing from the screen. Viewers in the live stream felt a pang of jealousy, exclaiming, "Who doesn't have a girlfriend? Why flaunt such love? Oh, how envious! Heaven, grant me a boyfriend like Wang Yu. Are there any wealthy ladies present? I stand at 180 centimeters, with an 8-pack, more handsome than Yen Zhu, and proficient in a myriad of skills, even enduring a steel wool. Oh, male god, look at me. I send you so many charming photos, and yet cannot capture your attention. I beg you." The live stream had seemingly transformed into a grand matchmaking event, as viewers watched Wang Yu basking in admiration. After lunch, Wang Yu made his way to the seaside. Turning to Shadow and Dark Hawk, he instructed, "Please fetch some fruits from the boat. I shall catch a few fish in the sea to send to the monkeys later." "Yes, young Master Wang," they replied respectfully, heading towards the yacht. Suddenly, a thought struck Wang Yu. "Also, send them some of the octopus tentacle from the freezer." "Understood, young Master Wang." Casting a glance at the nearby camera, He Chaoyan leaned closer to Wang Yu and whispered, "Brother Wang Yu, what did you discover in the cave?" He Chaoxian also looked at him with curiosity, her mind conjuring scenes reminiscent of a fantasy novel, filled with anticipation. Wang Yu shook his head and replied, "We didn't even enter. A great door barred our way." Both He Chaoyan and He Chaoxian exclaimed in surprise, covering their small mouths. Wang Yu slowly recounted the events they had encountered, revealing the jade tablet for them to see. He Chaoyan and He Chaoxian listened intently, eager to explore the cave with Wang Yu once it was opened. Yet, this remained merely a fantasy. They refrained from voicing their thoughts, lest they displease Wang Yu. After all, entering would only make them pawns, and he would have to divert his attention to care for them, engaging them with amusing anecdotes. Wang Yu once again shed his clothing, grasped a net bag, and swam towards the sea. After distancing himself from the camera, he gradually submerged, observing the schools of fish and scanning his surroundings. As he gazed upon the delectable offerings, he deftly tucked them into his net, submerging them beneath the waves. He collected an assortment of sea delicacies, including conchs, scallops, sea cucumbers, and, of course, crabs and lobsters. Before long, his net was brimming. Upon resurfacing, Shadow and Dark Owl had also procured an ample supply of fruits, most of which were absent from this island. They ensured that he would be well fed. Wang Yu did not personally deliver the fruits. He merely enlisted Shadow for the task. Chapter 4:18. The Game of the Brave in the afternoon, under the direction of the producer, Shi Yining. A group of celebrities and wealthy heirs engaged in a series of games. Wang Yu felt a lack of enthusiasm, his thoughts lingering on the cave he had yet to explore. The individuals his grandfather had arranged were still en route, arriving late in the evening. There was little point in fretting. The night soon descended, with the moon shining brightly. The untainted sky, illuminated by the moonlight, appeared resplendent. The surroundings were clearly visible. Within the live broadcast room, the fans were downcast, reluctant to see the program come to an end so soon. Over the past 3 days, they had glimpsed Wang Yu's authentic self, witnessing the playful antics of the wealthy heirs, who were not so different from ordinary folk. Yet, they found it hard to accept that the show was concluding, which also signified the rarity of seeing Wang Yu's appearances online in the future. After all, he was no ordinary individual. It was unlikely he would be featured online as frequently as the stars. Though they knew this day would arrive, its swiftness took them by surprise. Wang Xikong and Qin Fen laughed mischievously, relishing the end of the program, anticipating a return to indulgent escapades and seeking companionship. "Oh, It feels as though my idol has directly debuted. This way, I could see him continuously. The live room was overwhelmed with viewers, causing it to lag, while many showered GIFs upon the screen. Various effects cluttered the mobile display, prompting users to disable them. Wang Yu, Wang Sikong, He Chaoyan, He Yujun, Dili Reba, and the director, Shi Yining, stood in a line on the beach. Shi Yining smiled at the camera, expressing gratitude to the fans. Thank you for your support. Our 3-day survival live stream on the deserted island has come to a perfect conclusion. There will be a re-edit, transformed into a program. Thank you all for your support. He then led Wang Yu and the others in a rallying cry, signaling the end of the show. Simultaneously, a voice echoed in Wang Yu's mind. Ding! Wilderness Real Man, daily task requirements met. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the Wilderness Real Man daily task, earning 500 points. A faint smile graced Wang Yu's lips as he turned his attention to the main quest. Common knowledge, main quest The Life of a Tycoon is never ordinary. Task completion rate, 798 billion of 50 billion. Having participated in just 3 days of programming, he had gained a notable 40 million in fame, which he deemed satisfactory. His time spent here was not in vain. Within the live stream, numerous female fans were on the verge of tears, deeply affected as they watched Wang Yu or their beloved idols. Their hearts ached. However, after a considerable time, the live stream remained active, merely showing staff members tidying up the area and dismantling various artificial decorations. Confusion swept through the viewers. Wasn't it supposed to be over? Why hadn't the live stream ended? Indeed, Wang Yu and the others had not left. What were they huddling together for? Why was Ximen Yao's vision obscured? What was unfolding? The production team had not issued any notifications, yet they continued walking towards the beach. I was utterly bewildered. Director Shi Yining glanced at the barrage of comments in the live stream, a subtle smile playing on his lips. He had no intention of explaining. Instead, he followed behind He Yujun and the others, moving forward. Ximen Yao, her eyes covered by a silk scarf, spoke perplexedly. He Yujun, are you trying to kill me? What is this? Shoo, darling, don't speak, just follow me. He Yujun murmured into Ximen Yao's ear, his voice rich and magnetic. To prevent her from removing the scarf, he reached out and covered her eyes with his hand, leading her onward. Wang Sikong, grinning widely, nudged Wang Yu's arm and whispered, Look at He Yujun, how romantic. Proposing in front of millions. With so many girlfriends, which one are you planning to marry? Hearing this, He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin turned their expectant gazes toward Wang Yu. Shut up. Wang Yu cursed under his breath, turning away to avoid the sparkling eyes of He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin. His conscience pricked him. However, he genuinely had no idea how to respond to such a question. He understood their desire for a commitment, a relationship that could progress step by step. Yet, he also loved Shen Qingya, Rinning Shuang, Karina, and the others. He could not forsake his other girlfriends for the sake of one woman. He simply could not do it. For now, he could only feign ignorance. The expressions of He Chaoxin and He Chaoyan dimmed instantly, their spirits somewhat lowered, though they struggled to maintain a semblance of a smile. Bowing their heads, they silently followed along. Celebrities like Kai Kuan, Xiao Zhan, and Zhu Jingyi were elegantly dressed, adorned with perfectly placed smiles, occasionally glancing at the camera's position behind and to the side. The live stream had yet to conclude. They certainly could not relax, needing to maintain their star allure at all times. At that moment, the viewers in the live stream gradually began to comprehend the situation. Upon seeing the brightly lit beach ahead, adorned with pink and white balloons, they immediately grasped the unfolding scenario. Goodness, how extraordinarily romantic of He Yujun. This was a proposal. How enviable. Ximen Yao was truly fortunate. Being an ordinary person, how could she find such an exceptional boyfriend in He Yujun? Unlike my boyfriend, who after such a long time together, only knows how to make empty promises. The disparity between ordinary individuals and the affluent. I propose in a dim alley, while they flaunt their love in front of millions. I genuinely envy them. The illumination, the arrangement, even the sea breeze carries a hint of fragrance, does it not? A hint of envy lingers. Allow me to enlighten you. The petals scattered upon the beach are not mere embellishments, but exquisite Ecuadorian pink roses, sufficient to sweeten my cup of milk tea. How sour this feels. I shall indulge in this plethora of affection, while you may partake as you wish. The atmosphere is particularly serene. As He Yujun blindfolds Ximen Yao, she gradually begins to grasp the situation, her heart racing with excitement as tears begin to cascade down her cheeks. My dear, do you recall when I once told you that I would marry you? Now is the moment when I fulfill that promise. A smile graces He Yujun's face as he comes to a halt. All right, you may now remove the silk scarf. He gently instructs. With a sniffle, Shi Mingyao slowly unveils her eyes, revealing a magnificent bouquet of roses before her. The sky is adorned with balloons, and beneath her feet lies a carpet of petals, rendering her speechless. My love, before millions of viewers, I vow that I shall love only you for the rest of my life and will always cherish you. He Yujun kneels on one knee, producing a box that reveals a ring within. Taking a deep breath, he proclaims loudly, Shi Mingyao, I love you. Will you marry me? Shi Mingyao gazes at the man before her, tears like pearls rolling down her cheeks, and nods firmly, declaring, I will. He Yujun joyfully slips the ring on her finger, rising to embrace her in a moment of pure elation. The venue erupts with thunderous applause, heartfelt blessings pouring forth for the couple, as viewers in the live stream echo their congratulations. In this era, genuine love is indeed rare, yet not entirely absent. Love is a venture for the courageous, and mutual pursuit is the most righteous choice. Chapter 419. The Golden Seal of Protection. He Yujun meticulously planned this proposal for several days. He found opportunities to communicate with director Wang Yu and Shi Yining, leading to this live-stream proposal across the internet. Here, the events diverge from the previous life. Wang Yu distinctly remembers that He Yujun would not propose to Shi Mingyao for several more months. One can only conclude that those around him have been influenced by his fervor. With the success of the proposal, the live stream officially concluded. At Wang Yu's suggestion, they prepared to set sail again the following day. However, the stars and production team had to depart immediately, as they were racing against time to meet their next schedule. Once everything was packed, they boarded the cruise ship, ready to leave. Dili Riba cast a reluctant glance at Wang Yu, saying sweetly, Boss, I must take my leave now. Until we meet again in the Magic City. Until we meet in the Magic City, Wang Yu replied with a nod and a smile. With that, Dili Riba turned and walked toward the cruise, and as everyone gathered, the ship commenced its voyage, gradually accelerating into the distance. Director Shi Yining, the stars, and Yi Chengxiang waved farewell to Wang Song, Wang Yu, and Qin Fun from the deck. As for He Yujun and Shi Mingyao, they simply remarked that the night had grown late and retreated to their resting quarters. As for whether there is a rest, that remains uncertain. Around 11 o'clock at night, Wang Yu stood on the beach, the sea breeze caressing his cheeks, causing his eyes to narrow slightly. With his hands clasped behind his back, he gazed into the distance at the sky illuminated by the bright moon. And Shadow glanced at the time and remarked, Young Master Wang, they should be arriving soon. Indeed, Wang Yu nodded, excitement flickering in his eyes. He could hardly contain himself, eager to enter the cave and explore its mysteries. He had come personally to welcome them, and after such a lengthy wait, the moment was finally at hand. The shadowy figure, Dark Hawk, stole a glance at Wang Yu, internally scoffing. Typically calm and composed, Wang Yu seemed unfazed by the world around him, as if nothing held any significance. Yet here he was, brimming with enthusiasm for an unopened cave. One could only imagine how elated he would be if he were to discover something extraordinary within. Nevertheless, upon further contemplation, it was understandable. After all, Wang Yu had only recently delved into this realm and was naturally filled with curiosity. Suddenly, a metallic tearing sound shattered the tranquil silence of the ocean. An armed helicopter approached in a triangular formation, its rotors shredding the moonlight and casting a gray shadow upon the beach. Searchlights swept across the water, startling a large school of fish, which appeared like a one-eyed giant awakening from the depths of darkness. Ultimately, the lights settled upon Wang Yu's position. Here they are, Dark Hawk announced just as the helicopter's cabin doors sprang open above them. There were no ropes descending, nor did anyone leap down. Instead, the air rippled as if heated waves were distorting a scorching iron plate. Wang Yu's pupils constricted sharply, and from the shimmering waves emerged a disheveled old Taoist exuding the scent of alcohol. His robe, patched and tattered, fluttered as if caught in a wind that did not exist. Clutching a jug, its surface adorned with bizarre, dark golden patterns, he stepped down from the helicopter. Without hesitation, the helicopter turned and departed. The old Taoist tilted his head back and drank, his murky gaze sweeping over the crowd before finally landing on Wang Yu. His voice, gravelly and raspy as if sandpaper had scoured rusted iron, inquired, Are you Wang Yu, the sole heir of the Wang family? Greetings, senior. I am Wang Yu, he replied, clasping his hands in salute, his curiosity piqued by the old Taoist before him. Dark Hawk and a shadowy figure seemed to recognize the man and, after respectfully bowing, said, Master Zhang, We did not expect you to come personally. With your intervention, this mere cave will be a cinch. The old Taoist took another swig from his jug, laughing heartily as he scrutinized Wang Yu from head to toe. In an instant, he appeared before Wang Yu, extending a gnarled hand resembling a dried chicken claw, beginning to probe Wang Yu's body. What do you mean by this, senior? Wang Yu exclaimed, taken aback and frozen in place. Master Zhang withdrew his claw-like hand, a glimmer of golden light flashing in his eyes. Young Wang, your physique is commendable, but alas, your identity is a hindrance. Should you choose to be my disciple, I guarantee you will grasp the essence of turbid energy within 3 years. You jest, senior, Wang Yu responded, a hint of embarrassment coloring his smile as he discreetly stepped back. One could only wonder what peculiar inclinations he possessed to approach him so brazenly upon arrival. The shadow turned to Wang Yu and said, Young Master Wang, this is Zhang Xuanjin, the contemporary celestial master of Longhu Mountain and my junior brother. As the shadow added this, his voice instinctively lowered. Zhang Jinren is a formidable practitioner of the 3rd level of turbid energy. The last time he made an appearance was in the Kunlun secret realm. It was no wonder that the only person who had come was this old Taoist. He was indeed impressive. Wang Yu finally understood what an ignorant lad he was. Zhang Xuanjin flashed a grin, revealing a gap where half a tooth was missing. Before he could finish speaking, the wine jug in his hand suddenly trembled violently, and the liquid within transformed into serpents glimmering with strands of golden light, darting towards Wang Yu's brow. Wang Yu's pupils constricted sharply, yet he felt as if he were frozen in place, helplessly watching the golden serpent merge into his forehead. In that instant, the sea of consciousness surged like a tempest, with countless ancient runes floating in the void, accompanied by the indistinct sounds of dragon roars and tiger howls. Observing Wang Yu's pale visage, Zhang Xuanjin took another swig of wine, producing a laugh from his throat akin to a wind instrument. What are you staring at? This is the guardian gold seal of Longhu Mountain. Since you seem somewhat agreeable, I'll allow you this favor. Regaining his senses, Wang Yu felt the runes suspended in his sea of consciousness. Although he was somewhat perplexed, he recognized the value of this gift and expressed his gratitude, saying, Thank you for your kindness, senior. The shadow and him were envious as they gazed at Wang Yu. It must be understood that this was the ancestral secret technique of Longhu Mountain, the guardian gold seal. Only direct disciples and those of significant merit are bestowed with this seal, intended to safeguard them from danger when venturing outside. As long as a practitioner of the 4th level does not personally intervene with the protection of this guardian gold seal, Wang Yu could evade many covert schemes. This exemplified the profound foundation of a grand sect, incomparable to smaller factions. The shadow, coming from a military background, witnessed such legendary prowess for the first time. Previously, he had only heard tales of it, and a disciple of the Amei sect could also be considered part of a rare major sect. Yet he was merely an ordinary inner disciple without such privileges. Senior has treated me so well. I wonder what I can do in return. Wang Yu realized, through the gazes of the shadow, and that he had struck gold. Zhang Jinren cheerfully replied, Just do a bit more good in the future as a form of recompense. But remember, this guardian gold seal can withstand a 3rd level expert for the duration of an incense stick. If a 4th level expert personally acts, it can last a maximum of 12 breaths. Wang Yu nodded in understanding, but pondered for a moment before asking, What if it's a 5th level expert? Zhang Jinren shot him a glare and said, 5th level? If you're truly fortunate enough to offend a 5th level being, then just run for your life. Every second you can live counts. Chapter 420. Truly a stroke of luck. Wang Yu was taken aback. Just one more level of realm, and the disparity was so vast. Survival time had to be calculated in seconds. It was then that he began to grasp the pinnacle of martial cultivation, reaching the zenith of personal prowess. All right, young Wang Yu, let us discuss more serious matters, Zhang Jinren said, stroking his scraggly beard with a smile. I've heard that the key to the cave has been found. This is the key to opening the cave. Wang Yu retrieved a peculiar jade token from his pocket and presented it to Zhang Jinren, unperturbed by the possibility of theft. The fact that his grandfather had entrusted Zhang Jinren to assist him signified complete trust. To harbor suspicion would be rather petty. Zhang Jinren merely cast a glance at the jade token before shifting his gaze to Wang Yu's face, a flicker of admiration passing through his eyes. He regarded the handsome young man, with his striking brows and bright eyes, with increased fondness and remarked, You truly possess a stroke of luck. Let us not waste any more time. We shall head directly to the cave. Agreed. Wang Yu nodded, pocketing the jade token, and turned to lead Zhang Jinren into the depths of the forest. Shadows and dark owls guided the way. As night descended, The encroaching darkness did not hinder their passage through the woods. However, the wildlife was particularly active, some even attempting to launch an attack on the group. Wang Yu noticed Zhang Jinren effortlessly keeping pace beside him, each step covering great distances as if he wielded the power of spatial manipulation. Youngster, you are moving far too slowly. Allow me to assist you. Zhang Jinren called out, and with a swift motion, he appeared at Wang Yu's side, grasping his arm and leaping towards the treetops. Zhang Jinren landed atop the branches with an ethereal grace, swiftly propelling Wang Yu through the air. Wow, Zhang Jinren is impressive. Wang Yu exclaimed, laughter escaping him. Just a trivial skill, Zhang Jinren replied nonchalantly. Wang Yu felt a sharp sting in his ears as the wind whipped past his face like a blade. Zhang Jinren's toes lightly touched branches as slender as fingers, the seemingly fragile limbs bending not an inch beneath their weight. They glided through the treetops like two willow catkins, and Wang Yu could even discern the dewdrops lingering upon the leaves. With each leap, the old Taoist landed precisely upon the branches without disturbing a single fragment of bark. Moonlight filtered through the dense foliage like scattered silver, and the patches on Zhang Jinren's robe flapped in the wind, making their journey appear remarkably effortless. Had it not been for Zhang Jinren's disheveled appearance, one might have mistaken them for celestial beings traversing the earthly realm. As they sped along, a dense fog enveloped them. Yet Zhang Jinren maneuvered through it with ease, each jump landing precisely in the thickest parts of the mist. Wang Yu hazily perceived a faint gray light flickering where the old Taoist's feet touched down. Minutes later, they arrived at the base of a bare mountaintop. Wang Yu was gently set down, momentarily disoriented as he gazed back at the path they had traversed. Was that truly so swift? At this pace, even without delays, it should have taken at least several tens of minutes to reach here. Yet under Zhang Jinren's guidance, we arrived in merely 3 minutes? This is utterly absurd. It's faster than the most advanced aircraft crafted by humankind. Youngster, I shall take a brief rest. Call me when the time comes, Zhang Jinren declared. Finding a stone to recline upon, he uncorked a gourd at his waist and began to drink, quickly succumbing to slumber, his snores echoing through the air. Is he truly sleeping already? Upon witnessing this scene, Wang Yu was utterly taken aback. Could it be that there was a sedative in the wine? How could one fall asleep so abruptly? The ethereal feeling that had just blossomed in his heart dissipated instantaneously, creating a stark contrast. He sighed in resignation and turned to find a stone to sit upon, retrieving his phone to scroll through the news while awaiting the arrival of Shadow and Darkhawk. In this desolate wilderness, the surrounding forest intermittently echoed with the growls of unknown beasts, sending shivers down his spine. Eyes, reminiscent of ghostly flames, stared ominously at the two from the depths of the woods. Yet for some inexplicable reason, they hesitated and gradually retreated into the forest shadows. Were it not for Wang Yu's impressive credentials and the presence of a master by his side, others like Wang Sikong would have surely succumbed to terror. His phone was inundated with news related to extreme challenges and his own affairs. Following the conclusion of the 3-day challenge, rumors suggested Wang Yu had found a new method of wooing women. In the finale of the Extreme Challenge program, He Yujun proposed to Shi Mengyao. The relationship between Wang Yu and He Chaoyan, as well as He Chaoxin, was the envy of many. Astonishingly, after the Extreme Challenge, He Yujun proposed to Wang Yu. What nonsense is this? Upon reading this, Wang Yu's face darkened with fury. The comments within were equally amusing, as fans eagerly chimed in to testify online that He Yujun had indeed proposed. This misled a small number of uninformed individuals. However, as time passed, the online buzz intensified, and some who had been deceived gradually uncovered the truth, feeling a twinge of regret. The internet was awash with countless memes and jokes, spreading like wildfire. Growing increasingly irritated, Wang Yu promptly shut off his phone, realizing that such viral trends were best avoided to spare his eyes from the discomfort of seeing them. Just as he set his phone aside, Shadow and Darkhawk finally arrived, breathless and disheveled. Young master, we are late, they panted. Now that we are all here, let us proceed. At some point, Zhang Jinren had awakened, stretching lazily and yawning repeatedly before turning to ascend a mountain. Wang Yu nodded to Shadow and Darkhawk, following in Zhang Jinren's footsteps. Before long, the quartet reached the mountain summit, where they beheld a dark abyss reaching skyward. This must be the place, Wang Yu mused, sensing the quality of the murky air was rather extraordinary. As they approached, a rare seriousness crossed Zhang Jinren's face. Wang Yu, this cave is no ordinary place. You should wait for us here. Wang Yu furrowed his brow and activated his X-ray vision to peer into the depths of the pit, questioning Zhang Jinren. What makes it so extraordinary? With your protection, what danger could there possibly be? This cave has existed for countless years. Even if there were dangers, they would have long since faded into the annals of time. What is there to fear? Hearing Wang Yu's words, Shadow frowned and replied, Young master, let us heed Zhang Zhenren's counsel. For your safety, it would be best for you to wait outside. Observing Wang Yu's unyielding demeanor, the dark crow had a sudden inspiration and remarked with a smile, How about this? When I enter, I shall capture the scenes within for you to behold. You need not persuade me further, Wang Yu replied earnestly. I am determined to enter the cave. With Zhang Zhenren's protection and my Taoist talisman, my safety is assured. Chapter 421. The Endless Staircase. Seeing Wang Yu's resolve, Zhang Zhenren had no choice but to acquiesce. Since you insist on entering, let it be understood that you must remain closely by my side. Do not touch anything that is not meant to be disturbed, or I cannot guarantee your safety. Should you perish within, and your grandfather seeks retribution, I shall bear no responsibility. Rest assured, nothing will happen. Wang Yu smiled confidently. Despite the persistent attempts of Ying and the Dark Crow to dissuade him, Zhang Zhenren sensed an unsettling calmness in Wang Yu. The boy appeared excessively composed. He pondered silently, wondering if perhaps there was some hidden, life-preserving trump card at play. Wang Yu merely smiled and leaped into the inky abyss below. Zhang Zhenren followed closely, examining the grand doorway before him. After a moment of contemplation, he slowly instructed, If you are to retrieve it. At that moment, without Zhang Zhenren's prompting, Wang Yu felt the jade token in his hand quiver slightly. The tremors intensified, the surface's intricate patterns twisting like a living entity, emanating a faint, luminous glow that gradually coalesced at the token's singular horn. Release it, Zhang Xianzhen suddenly commanded. Before his words could settle, the jade token shot forth, landing in the recess of the grand doorway's Taiji Bagua, its radiance swelling dramatically, illuminating the space as if it were day. The rust on the iron gate visibly flaked away, and a dark, grayish light erupted from the depths of its patterns, colliding thunderously with the token's brilliance. The Yin-Yang Bagua fish began to whirl rapidly, its 8 lines transforming into twisted chains that ensnared the jade token at the center from all directions. A roar reminiscent of a mythical beast echoed through the air. The brilliance at the token's horn intensified, culminating in a resounding crack as the ancient door, sealed for countless epochs, slowly creaked open. A gust carrying the sense of decay and rust surged forth, revealing an abyss of darkness within, akin to a slumbering giant. It is opened. Wang Yu gazed into the depths, his expression a mixture of astonishment and suspicion. Zhang Zhenren took a sip from the wine gourd hanging at his waist and stepped forward. Be cautious and follow closely. As they entered the cavern, torches ignited around them, illuminating the space brilliantly. Wang Yu's expression shifted to one of surprise. Do not panic. This is merely an incline, Zhang Zhenren stated calmly. It is a spiraling descent. The walls were composed of rock, devoid of any signs of human excavation. Following closely behind Zhang Zhenren, Wang Yu surveyed his surroundings, feeling a tinge of disappointment. This place bore no distinction from an ordinary cave tunnel, save for the inexplicably burning torches. Nothing else appeared remarkable. Ying and the Dark Crow remained vigilant, cautiously guarding Wang Yu's rear. Uncertain of how long they had been descending, several individuals ventured deeper into the cavern, the staircase beneath them seemingly extending into infinity. Devoid of an end, Wang Yu, somewhat exasperated, remarked, Are we destined to reach the Earth's core? We've been walking for half an hour already. Zhang Zhenren stroked his beard, pausing to gaze at the staircase that continued its downward incline, before extending his hand to calculate. We have not fallen into any formation. This is all quite real. The divination indicates we shall arrive shortly. Very well, let's press on. I refuse to believe this passage truly leads to the abyss. With that, they continued their journey. Time lost its meaning as they traversed the seemingly endless staircase. Wang Yu glanced back, observing that the steps they had traversed vanished into the darkness. Peering down, he found only an unfathomable void, a peculiar sense of gravity enveloping him. When he raised his gaze toward Zhang Zhenren, he was suddenly alarmed. He quickly turned back. Within his line of sight, the shadows and figures of Dark Shadow and Dark Owl had vanished. Zhang Zhenren? Dark Shadow, Dark Owl. Panic surged within Wang Yu as he called out loudly. Yet in this narrow corridor, Zhang Zhenren, Dark Shadow, and Dark Owl had simply evaporated before his very eyes. He shouted fervently, but no response came. They had seemingly vanished in a thin air, leaving him utterly alone, suppressing the rising tide of fear. Wang Yu turned without hesitation and began to ascend the stairs. Given the uncertainty of his circumstances, retreat seemed the wisest course. His ascent was slow, matching the pace of an ordinary person climbing stairs. It was nothing like the ease with which they had descended under Zhang Zhenren's guidance. Upon closer inspection, the stone steps beneath him were neither metal nor jade, chilling to the bone, etched with indistinct ancient runes that had lost their luster. He realized he had underestimated the situation. This was not the ethereal paradise he had imagined. It might harbor unfathomable terrors. Suddenly, Wang Yu halted, his gaze fixed on the winding staircase above, his expression tense. He pulled out his phone and was startled to find it was already 4 a.m. How could so much time have passed without encountering the entrance? This was utterly bewildering. Was it possible he had fallen victim to the fabled ghost wall? Wang Yu was perplexed, his understanding of the cultivation world insufficient. However, the ability to deceive Zhang Zhenren and the others and draw him into this solitary space indicated a formidable cunning at play. Gritting his teeth, he turned once more and descended the staircase. At this juncture, he could only treat a dead horse as a living one and hope that Zhang Zhenren and the others had reached the bottom as well. As tension mounted, Wang Yu's heart began to race, the surroundings enveloped in an eerie stillness. The silence was so profound he could hear his own heartbeat. In this utter quietude, hallucinations began to plague him. He perceived indistinct whispers and even faint echoes of dragon roars. Dark shadows seemed to writhe in the darkness flanking the staircase. Yet upon closer examination, they vanished. This inexplicable scene left Wang Yu breathless and filled with unease. Time seemed to stretch indefinitely as Wang Yu observed the unchanging staircase before him, which now bore witness to subtle transformations. Occasionally, he could discern immense claw marks along the edges of the steps and walls, accompanied by dried black blood and shattered remnants of swords, silently narrating tales of cataclysmic battles. Wang Yu halted his advance, crouching to examine a fragment of a broken sword blade. What had transpired here? The blade in his hand crumbled into iron shavings at the slightest pressure, and a frown creased his brow as he looked up. Above, the rocks were marred with similar colossal claw marks. Such supernatural occurrences. Wang Yu's gaze sharpened as he discarded the iron remnants and proceeded downward once more. His footsteps echoed through the hollow staircase, each step resonating against the rhythm of his own heartbeat. The further he descended, the more pronounced the chill became. This chill was not merely a matter of temperature. It was an eerie sensation that penetrated to the very marrow of his bones, as if countless eyes were fixated upon him from the shadows. The darkness on either side of the staircase thickened, undulating and shifting like a living entity. He suppressed his growing trepidation and quickened his pace, yet the feeling of unease intensified with each passing moment. Suddenly, a piercing shriek erupted in his ears, causing Wang Yu to whirl around, only to find nothing but the endless staircase stretching behind him. Chapter 422, The Sword of Dao Sound. Time slipped away as he traversed the seemingly endless staircase, the surroundings morphing into an increasingly bizarre spectacle. Strange symbols began to emerge on the walls, crooked and twisted, resembling an ancient script or bizarre totems, emanating a faint, ethereal glow. These symbols appeared to writhe and coalesce into hazy images, hinting at fierce battles, splattered blood, and the silhouettes of colossal beasts. A righteous figure wielding a massive sword struck at the distorted imagery before him, while a muscular warrior, clutching a large orb, struck it against his chest, only to transform into a bloodied figure, gradually melting away. What kind of cursed place is this? Wang Yu's breaths quickened, cold sweat trickling down his forehead. He felt on the brink of mental collapse. This seemingly bottomless staircase resembled an unending nightmare from which there was no escape. Just then, the step beneath him emitted a sharp crack. Looking down, he saw a slender fissure appearing, which rapidly spread, causing the entire staircase to tremble ominously. This is bad. Wang Yu attempted to retreat, but it was too late. The staircase began to collapse violently, debris cascading downwards, accompanied by the wailing of what sounded like tormented spirits, a call from the depths of hell. Below lay an abyss of impenetrable darkness. Desperately, Wang Yu clutched the wall, but the rocks began to loosen, tumbling away piece by piece. No! He plummeted into the vast chasm, his terrified screams echoing into the void. The abyss below appeared to stretch infinitely, both in space and depth, as Wang Yu continued his descent, the wind howling past him, intertwined with the roars and lamentations of the damned. Gradually, his consciousness began to blur, and in a daze, he felt as though his body was entirely detached from himself, akin to drifting upon the frigid surface of an ocean. It was unclear how much time had elapsed when a bone-chilling sensation abruptly roused Wang Yu. He opened his eyes wide in shock, the scene before him rendering him momentarily frozen, his heart nearly ceasing its rhythm. Before him lay an underground expanse vast enough to encompass the entire sky, with stalactites cascading from the dome above, glinting with a cold metallic luster, resembling a frozen river of stars suspended in the air. At the heart of this space, a colossal skeleton loomed, stretching for thousands of meters, enveloped in a swirling purple-black mist. This was unmistakably the remains of a suppressed dragon. The bones extended for hundreds of meters, their dark golden surfaces swirling with ominous purple-black vapors. Despite being reduced to mere skeletal remains, an overwhelming aura of ferocity and resentment emanated from it, palpable and intense, as if it could break free from its constraints at any moment, returning to the world to unleash a torrent of bloodshed and chaos. Even more staggering were the 3 gigantic swords that imprisoned the dragon. Towering like mountains, their ancient and weighty blades were marred by the passage of time. The once-etched Taoist incantations now dull and lifeless. One sword pierced the dragon's skull, its hilt deeply embedded in the dome. Another impaled its heart, and the last severed its tail, half of the blade slanted in the ground. Though these colossal swords lay shattered, they still exuded a formidable pressure, as if recounting the harrowing battle of yore. The ground was riven with immense fissures, chronicling the brutality of past conflicts. The air was thick with dust and the scent of death, each breath chilling to the bone and tinged with a metallic sweetness. What was I brought here for? Wang Yu staggered backward, disbelief etched across his face. His back collided with a crystalline rock column, the icy sensation racing up his spine, and in his stupor, he sensed the column trembling slightly, as if countless vengeful souls were howling within. He forced himself to regain composure. It was impossible to ascertain how much time had passed here. Under the passage of years, even this dragon had been reduced to mere bones. What could possibly be more terrifying? If he was not mistaken, this was not a hidden abode left by an esteemed master, but rather the very site that contained the suppressed dragon. Fortuitously, upon entering, Wang Yu found the dragon long since deceased, devoid of any immediate danger. Perhaps there were treasures to be discovered here. At that moment, a cylindrical shape captured his attention. In the distant expanse opposite the dragon's head, a stone platform, thick enough for 3 men to embrace, stood isolated in the air. The surface was intricately carved with an enigmatic bagua formation, its edges worn and the runes mostly eroded. Yet faint wisps of azure light mingled with dark, murky vapors, flickering at the center of the formation. Upon the platform sat a white-haired Taoist, cross-legged, adorned in a robe embroidered with clouds and golden thread, a style vastly different from contemporary Taoist attire, radiating a subtle cold glow. The Taoist's visage was gaunt, his eyes gently closed, and if not for the grim surroundings of this ancient battlefield, one might have mistaken him for an immortal engaged in profound discourse. A faint azure aura, intermingled with murky vapors, enveloped him, colliding with the sinister purple-black energy emanating from the skeletal remains of a demon dragon, creating bizarre ripples in the void. Yet, Wang Yu's gaze suddenly sharpened with the keen intensity of a hawk. There, upon the elevated platform, beneath the pallid skin of the Taoist, black web-like patterns writhed slowly, resembling countless minute serpents lying in ambush beneath flesh and blood. A chilling presence permeated the air. This ethereal figure, draped in an aura of celestial grace, now bore an unsettling aura of malevolence. Wang Yu held his breath and cautiously approached the pedestal, the gravel crunching softly beneath his feet. The whereabouts of Master Zhang and his companions were unknown. Their escape relied solely on themselves, and this malevolent Taoist was their only lead. As Wang Yu drew nearer, the faint azure aura surrounding the Taoist shuddered violently, akin to a stone cast into a still lake, sending forth layers of distorted ripples. His pupils dilated sharply. Before he could react, the aura contracted at a visible speed, transforming into a streak of light that disappeared into the Taoist's embrace. Immediately, an ancient bell ascended slowly from the Taoist's sleeve, enveloped tightly in the azure glow. The surface of the bell was etched with archaic runes, each line seemingly embodying the profound truths of the universe, yet subtly exuding a hint of malevolence. In an instant, the entire space quaked violently, as though an unseen giant hand were recklessly shaking this subterranean realm. A long, resonant chime echoed suddenly, a mysterious sound of the Tao that reverberated like a grand orchestral bell, causing Wang Yu's eardrums to throb painfully. The sound surged forth like a mighty tide, radiating outward from the bell, distorting the air into waves. The dust suspended in the atmosphere was jolted into the air, and the entire environment erupted into chaos. The sinister purple-black energy from the dragon's remains roared with fury, as if facing its nemesis, gradually manifesting into a faint draconic apparition at the skull's apex. With a mighty roar, two orbs of ghostly violet flames surged violently from the hollow eye sockets of the dragon's skull, flickering as if expressing boundless rage and terror, hurtling towards the Taoist on the platform. However, the sound of the Tao transformed into a razor-sharp sword, descending mercilessly upon the demon dragon's head. The three massive swords embedded in the corpse erupted with blinding radiance in that fleeting moment. A heart-wrenching wail echoed throughout the space, a desperate cry of anguish. Under the impact of the Tao's resonance, the purple-black energy dissipated rapidly, like snow melting beneath the scorching sun, vanishing into nothingness. The atmosphere, once saturated with death and terror, began to reveal a hint of clarity amidst the cleansing waves of the Tao's sound. Wang Yu stood transfixed, his heart racing wildly within his chest. This extraordinary scene surpassed his wildest imagination. He could only discern that the demon dragon had seemingly been obliterated, its very soul extinguished. Countless words choked in his throat, and he finally managed to exhale two simple words. What the hell? Chapter 423. The toxic murk. He fixated on the dissipating, unwilling dragon soul, his throat constricting violently, forgetting even to wipe the cold sweat trickling down the back of his neck. The elongated corpse, stretching for miles, became translucent under the cleansing resonance of the sacred sound, devoid of any malevolent aura. The once fearsome bones of the demon dragon, previously emanating terror, were swept away by the melody, disintegrating like morning dew under the harsh sun, quickly transforming into powder and scattering throughout the ancient, shadowy underground space. Waves of astonishment surged within Wang Yu, who felt like a frog at the bottom of a well. What he beheld today shattered his lifelong understanding. Just as his thoughts were tumultuous, the Taoist seated on the high platform radiated a brilliant aura, merging with the light of the bell, and in an instant transformed into a streak of luminescence that appeared before him. Within that halo, the Taoist's robe billowed without wind, and the golden dragon and tiger cloud patterns seemed to writhe, as if alive, exuding an almost overwhelming majesty. What startled Wang Yu even more was the slight trembling of the Taoist's eyelids as he slowly opened his eyes. Within those eyes lay a profound wisdom characteristic of a Taoist immortal, intertwined with a barely perceptible dark glimmer of demonic allure. The two essences intertwined like the duality of yin and yang, yet perpetually at odds, causing Wang Yu to gasp in astonishment. Meanwhile, the protective gold scroll within his consciousness stirred slightly. Young friend, why does the protective gold scroll guard you despite your lack of training in the techniques of Longhu Mountain? The Taoist's voice resonated like a grand bell, akin to a chorus of thunder, shaking Wang Yu to the core, causing him to spit blood, his mind oscillating between clarity and chaos, sensing that his life hinged on the Taoist's thoughts. A flicker of joy crossed Wang Yu's eyes as he held his breath, revealing the existence of the protective gold scroll and the reasons for his presence here. Given the stature of such a figure, he dared not conceal anything, especially since his earlier words hinted at a connection to Longhu Mountain. His life was likely spared. Upon hearing Wang Yu's words, a gentle glimmer appeared in the Taoist's eyes. It seems you and I share a fateful bond. The Taoist, sitting cross-legged on the ground, bore a smile at the corner of his mouth. Esteemed elder, may I inquire your name? Wang Yu cautiously asked, fearful of inciting his ire. You may call me King Suzy, the Taoist replied, his eyes seeming to reflect the sun, moon, and stars as he turned to gaze into the distance, as if returning to Huagua, stepping once again upon the Longhu Mountain he had not visited for centuries. A fleeting glimpse of solitude crossed his gaze. Wang Yu stood respectfully at the side, sensing the inexplicable expression on King Suzy's face, and dared not speak. After an indeterminate time, he noticed a sudden shift in King Suzy's aura. The previous intertwining sense of good and evil dissipated, replaced by a profound and boundless Taoist rhythm, devoid of any malevolence. Do you know, young friend, of my battle with this demon dragon? I'm unaware, esteemed elder. Wang Yu shook his head, responding softly. This demon dragon absorbs foul qi, manipulating human hearts to incite catastrophic turmoil, seeking to advance further through that surging murk. I have discerned its intentions and subdued it here. King Suzy laughed heartily, by the way. I must thank you. Your unintentional awakening of my lingering soul inadvertently led to the demise of this demon dragon. Who knows how many years it will take to completely eradicate it. I have done nothing. All credit belongs to you, esteemed elder. Wang Yu was somewhat taken aback, realizing his own remarkable capabilities. After a moment of contemplation, he inquired, I have 3 companions who entered with me. I wonder how they are faring now. Oh, Qing Shuzi's brow furrowed slightly before easing. They are all in the outside world. Strangely enough, you should have been transported away by the formation as well. How is it that you have arrived here? This junior does not know, Wang Yu replied, scratching his head with a hint of trepidation. Upon hearing the names of Zhang Zhenren and the shadows, and Xiao remained silent, feeling a sense of relief. No wonder they vanished while walking. They were transported away by the formation here. I am doomed. Qing Shuzi sighed deeply, stroking his beard as he gazed at the astonished Wang Yu. It is indeed fortuitous that you have arrived here. Might I request a favor from you, young friend? Please do not hesitate, esteemed elder. The surprise on Wang Yu's face faded. He stood tall, his expression solemn. As long as it is within my power, I shall certainly assist you. Before his words had fully escaped his lips, Qing Shuzi's aura began to recede like the ebbing tide, the previously restrained energy of righteousness and evil surging once more. The black patterns beneath his skin writhing like living serpents. Excellent. Qing Shuzi snapped his fingers, and a jade tablet inscribed with cloud and thunder patterns burst forth from his bosom, hovering before Wang Yu. The Dao Bell that had previously quelled the demonic dragon's spirit followed suit. I require you to personally deliver this jade tablet and the Dao Bell to Longhu Mountain and present them to the current celestial master. As Wang Yu grasped the jade tablet, a searing heat radiated from his palm, as if he were holding a fragment of thunder. Suddenly, he noticed a dark light of malevolence surge in Qing Shuzi's eyes. The man levitated into the air, his robe billowing as if he were a deity on the verge of transcending to immortality. Remember, through your voice, convey my message. King Xuzies Ohahuad. The golden threads on his robe depicting clouds fracturing inch by inch, transforming into a cascade of radiant light. He stood suspended in the air, becoming the singular focus of a universe, yet exuding an air of imminent dissolution. The miasma is toxic. The cultivation system must be restructured. This path is erroneous. The miasma has already infiltrated my primordial spirit. This awakening is merely a fleeting reflection. He suddenly howled towards the heavens, his voice laden with unwillingness and fury, causing the entire underground space to tremble. Consider me, Qing Shuzi, who has cultivated for a century, destined to attain the supreme purity realm, traversing the void and roaming the cosmos. Had it not been for this miasma's interference, disrupting yin and yang, polluting the path, would I have been ensnared by this wretched dragon, reduced to such a fate? I refuse to accept it. A flicker of nostalgia crossed Qing Shuzi's eyes, swiftly overshadowed by boundless regret. I was meant to be the most distinguished disciple in the history of Longhu Mountain, destined to lead the disciples of the Tao in vanquishing all demons, achieving the utmost realm. Yet now I am confined here, buried with this demonic dragon as time slips away. Before Qing Shuzi could finish, he suddenly grasped the air, and a blinding white light erupted from the ribcage of the dragon's remains. The light tore through space, morphing into a dragon egg the size of Zhang, its shell shimmering with a mercury-like sheen, devoid of any demonic aura, instead radiating pure spiritual energy. I shall not let your journey be in vain. Qing Shuzi smiled broadly. Though this cursed dragon is vile, its offspring is indeed a rare and precious spirit beast, considered a boon to you. As soon as the words left his lips, a sudden, excruciating pain pierced Wang Yu's brow, and a drop of his essence blood shot uncontrollably forth, colliding with the dragon egg like a meteor. In an instant, the egg erupted in a dazzling array of colors. Wang Yu felt a warm current surge through his veins, rushing toward his heart, as visions of a divine dragon soaring through the heavens danced before his eyes, each scale inscribed with profound truths. The massive dragon egg visibly shrank, ultimately transforming into a diminutive silver egg. With a swift motion, it burrowed into his chest, and a rhythmic thumping resonated from his heart, harmonizing with the vibrations of the dragon egg. Chapter 424. Speak a few more words, young man. Seeing this, Qing Shuzi clapped his hands in delight, collapsing to the ground in laughter. When I once subdued this dragon, I discovered that this egg was nourished by its heart's blood. Calculating the time, it is indeed time for it to hatch. Wang Yu, elated by his words, bowed deeply and expressed his gratitude, saying, "Thank you, esteemed elder, for this treasure." "Well said, well said." Qing Shuzi's laughter abruptly ceased, giving way to a violent cough, as blood seeped through his fingers, transforming into wisps of dark mist. "Remember this well. This dragon is no ordinary creature. It has absorbed the essence of demonic dragons throughout its life within the egg, and it will undoubtedly be extraordinary." In the very moment these words were uttered, the ethereal Qing Shuzi drastically transformed. His robe suddenly disintegrated into charred ashes, and his snow-white hair, before it could even fall, disintegrated into powder, as if scorched by an invisible flame. His once plump cheeks visibly hollowed. His skin shifted from pale to dark purple, and soon cracked like parched earth, revealing bones that, before they could fully manifest, were already tinged with a decayed gray. In an instant, Qing Shuzi's body was entirely consumed by the ravages of time, exploding into countless ashes that mingled with the remnants of flesh, forming a strange black haze. The entire process of disintegration occurred without a sound, as eons of erosion transpired in the blink of an eye, leaving not even a trace of bone ash behind. Suddenly, the Dao bell, suspended above, emitted a mournful hum, slowly descending into Wang Yu's hand. Upon witnessing this scene, Wang Yu was momentarily stunned. "Elder, are you leaving just like this? Speak a few more words. I haven't even departed yet." His voice echoed in the vast emptiness, tinged with helplessness and fear. Looking up, he saw that the immense space was now dominated by the colossal carcass of the demonic dragon beneath 3 gigantic swords, exuding a chilling aura that seemed to mock his insignificance and helplessness. At that moment, a wave of dizziness washed over Wang Yu. The space around him began to warp and distort. The surroundings blurred into indistinction, as the dragon carcass, the gigantic swords, and the ashes left by Qing Shuzi continuously tugged and overlapped in his vision. What is happening? Wang Yu staggered, attempting to steady himself, but felt countless forces surging from all directions, pulling at his body. A sharp buzzing filled his ears, as if myriad sounds were clamoring simultaneously. His consciousness began to fade. Then, a brilliant white light engulfed him entirely. When Wang Yu regained consciousness, he found himself lying in an unfamiliar forest, surrounded by lush greenery. The sunlight filtered through the gaps in the leaves, warming his skin with a palpable reality, a stark contrast to the earlier sinister and foreboding underground space. He struggled to sit up, instinctively touching his chest. The dragon egg was still there, and the Dao bell and jade tablet lay quietly in his palm, though the intricate patterns on the surface of the Dao bell appeared dull, as if it had lost all of its power. "Have I truly emerged?" Wang Yu murmured, disbelief lacing his voice. He surveyed his surroundings, searching for familiar signs, and his eyes brightened instantly. Not far from him stood the barren hilltop, Longhu Mountain. Wang Yu tightened his grip on the jade tablet, a contemplative look crossing his features. He then tucked away the Dao bell and jade tablet, retrieving his phone to send a message to Shadow. Suddenly, he heard the system's prompt echo in his mind. Ding. Exploration of the cave, daily task completed. Ding. Congratulations, host, on completing the exploration of the cave, daily task, earning 100,000 points. This could undoubtedly be classified as the most perilous task Wang Yu had ever encountered, yet he had emerged relatively unscathed. It was no wonder the system rewarded such a substantial amount of points. It seemed to be aware of the situation within. The thought sent a shiver down his spine. Had it not been for Qing Shuzi's benevolence in vanquishing that terrifying dragon spirit, he would have merely paid a small price to leave that place. The space before Wang Yu shimmered, and the visage of Zhang Zhenren materialized in his mind. "Ah, Wang Yu, my boy, you finally made it out. I told you there was nothing to worry about, with my protective talisman in place. What trouble could a mere cave present?" Zhang Zhenren's words were reassuring. Yet Wang Yu could distinctly sense the relief in his demeanor. "Zhang Zhenren, how long have you all been waiting? What of Shadow and Darkhawk?" Wang Yu refrained from divulging the events that transpired within the cave, uncertain of why Qing Shuzi had insisted he deliver the items personally to Longhu Mountain. Nevertheless, he complied without question. Zhang Zhenren, with an inscrutable expression, took a hearty swig from his wine gourd, his gaze shifting away from Wang Yu. Since Wang Yu chose not to elaborate, Zhang Zhenren refrained from pressing further. "Not long after you entered, we noticed your absence. As we turned about, you simply emerged. This formation is indeed quite peculiar." He regarded Wang Yu with a bemused look, adding, "Your 2 bodyguards are remarkably loyal. They are already on their way." After a brief wait, Wang Yu soon spotted the figures of Shadow and Darkhawk materializing amidst the dense foliage. "Young master, How did you end up here? It is a relief to see you safe, they exclaimed, their anxiety dissipating upon confirming his well-being. Following Wang Yu's disappearance, the two had promptly reported the situation to their superior. They attempted to re-enter the cave multiple times, yet the slanted staircase had vanished, leaving Zhang Jinren at a loss. Unable to locate it. With no other option, they waited outside, hoping for Wang Yu's safe return. Now, witnessing him emerge unscathed, Shadow pulled out his phone to relay the news to their superior. After a brief conversation, he handed the phone to Wang Yu. Wang Xiao, the leader wishes to speak with you. Wang Yu nodded, bringing the phone to his ear, and immediately he heard his grandfather's concerned voice. Dear grandson, are you all right? Your disappearance in the cave has made me terribly worried. Grandfather, I am fine. There was just a minor mishap. Wang Yu felt a wave of warmth wash over him, tinged with guilt. Had it not been for his curiosity and disregard for their warnings, he would not have caused his grandfather such distress. Since all is well, you should return home swiftly. It is not wise to remain abroad for too long. Your grandmother misses you. Wang Zhaojun sighed and remarked. All right, Wang Yu replied. Ending the call, his eyes slightly reddened. Zhang Jinren, let us depart. The group made their way towards the seaside, where Zhang Jinren took a sip of his drink and glanced at Wang Yu, saying, You truly have a charmed life. The cave you encountered was extraordinary. I did my utmost. I'm aware of that. Who could have anticipated the peculiarities of this cave? Unforeseen events unfolded that were beyond anyone's control. Wang Yu replied with a resigned smile. He had taken every precaution for this treasure hunt, believing it would be flawless. Who could have foreseen that even a master like Zhang Jinren would find it challenging? Qing Su Zi was indeed exceptionally formidable. Chapter 425. Protecting you for a lifetime, reflecting on Qing Su Zi's assertion of being on the cusp of the pure Qi realm, a pinnacle of the cultivation system. And having subdued that terrifying demon dragon, he was undoubtedly a master of the highest caliber. An idea sparked in Wang Yu's mind, and he inquired of Zhang Jinren. Might your sect have any beings that transcend the turbid Qi realm? Transcend the turbid Qi realm? A glimmer of amusement flickered in Zhang Jinren's eyes as he shook his head. Such a realm exists, yet over the years, I have not heard of anyone breaking through the turbid Qi stage. In this era, ever since the focus on cultivating turbid Qi began, those who reach the 5th level of turbid Qi are exceedingly rare. Such individuals are invaluable to the nation, akin to a nuclear deterrent. Only those with exceptional talent, determination, and fortune can survive amidst the lethal trials of the heavens. Hearing this, Wang Yu inhaled sharply. Qing Su Zi was astonishingly powerful. After all these years, no one had managed to reach the pure Qi realm, while he had already stepped into that domain so long ago. Then, with a thoughtful look, Wang Yu asked, Might I inquire about the current Tianshi of Long Hushan? What is his level of cultivation? Of course, if it is not convenient to share, that is perfectly understandable. Wang Yu hesitated, unsure of any potential taboos among these major cultivation sections. Zhang Jinren took another sip of his drink, his beard glistening. There is nothing improper to disclose. The Tianshi is indeed one who has transcended the heavenly tribulations. As he spoke, Zhang Jinren's eyes shimmered with longing. Such a supreme realm is scarcely attained by few in this world, and without extraordinary circumstances. One might only ascend to the 3rd level of the turbid Qi realm in their lifetime. Contemplating this, Zhang Jinren sighed, expressing his resignation. Alas, cultivating turbid Qi does not extend one's lifespan. With my innate talent, had I lived in ancient times, perhaps I would have had the opportunity to catch a glimpse of that supreme realm. The shadow and the dark owl remained silent behind the two, quietly pricking up their ears. Such secrets of the cultivation world are not meant for mere ants like them to know. Yet in their eyes, the once lofty Zhang Jinren turned out to be unwilling to accept his fate. Truly, time wields its blade against the proud, and the path to immortality elicits sighs of beauty. How many fortunate souls have entered the cultivation realm, blessed with good fortune and decent talent, smoothly advancing to the turbid Qi stage, only to dream of becoming immortal? To ascend and become an ancestor. This is the lifelong aspiration of countless prodigies. However, regardless of their extraordinary gifts, most ultimately lay their bones along this path, let alone those of the lower echelons of the cultivation world. Cultivation, merely regarded by the majority as a stepping stone. As a few listened intently to Zhang Jinren recount amusing tales from the cultivation realm, Wang Yu took in the information seriously, gaining some understanding of this world. The foremost sects in the country, such as Longhu Mountain, Maoshan, Qingcheng, and Wudong, stand at the pinnacle of Taoism. Although Buddhism's influence is slightly weaker, it should not be underestimated, with notable sects like Putoa, Sihong Jingsai, Amei, and the Esoteric Sect, among others. There are also some heterodox sects, such as the Fire Road Cult and the True Buddha Sect, alongside foreign forces operating underground, attempting to spread their teachings among the more than 1 billion populace. Various factions exist, yet all remain safe under the officially established Heavenly Palace. The increasing potency of modern technology, combined with the presence of the Heavenly Palace, weighs heavily upon the cultivation realm. Anyone daring to engage in unlawful activities will swiftly be exposed under the surveillance of the Beidou satellites, facing the relentless pursuit of the Heavenly Palace. Speaking of the Shadow and the Dark Owl, they belong to the Heavenly Palace organization. However, the Heavenly Palace cannot remain aloof wherever there are interests to be gained. Competition arises, necessitating alliances. Though the Wang family has yet to step into the cultivation realm, they undoubtedly stand as a towering tree, attracting those who seek to align themselves, along with their loyal subordinates. Upon arriving at the seaside, the structures built by the staff and the belongings left by Wang Yu and his companions had mostly been dismantled, gradually being transported onto the cruise ship. He Yu-jun, He Chaoyan, and Wang Sicong were on the beach, moving a few lounge chairs while engrossed in their phones, sipping chilled beverages. Upon seeing Wang Yu return, He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin's eyes lit up. They stood and sweetly exclaimed, "Brother Wang Yu, you're back. We were worried about you." Wang Yu's gaze softened as he embraced them. He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin were unaware of the peril he had faced the previous night. They assumed that Zhang Jinren and the others had entered the cave and that he had merely been waiting outside, oblivious to any danger, thus not displaying any concern. "All right, now that we are all back, let us return home," He Yu-jun said, holding Shi Mengyao's hand with a smile. "Sure, we've lingered here long enough. Let us head back. There's nothing much to tidy up." A few individuals prepared to make their way towards a cruise ship, leaving behind the dilapidated and abandoned yacht that lay stranded. He Yu-jun had donated a sum of money to Mayor Zahade, requesting him to take care of the yacht's disposal, alleviating them of any concern. Wang Yu sighed inwardly, realizing it was time to return to Huagua. The events of the past few days had truly astonished him. Not only had he encountered the colossal sea creature, the octopus, but he had also ventured into the place where King Suzy subdued the demon dragon. He was uncertain whether it was a small world or merely the profound depths of the underground. However, the greatest gain from this journey was undoubtedly the dragon egg and the substantial reward of 100,000 points. Zhang Jinren also boarded the cruise ship alongside them. The ability to fly was an attribute reserved for individuals of the fifth realm of the turbid Qi, far beyond Wang Yu's capabilities. As the cruise ship gradually distanced itself from the small island, Wang Yu stood on the deck, his gaze profound, casting one final glance at the heart of the island. Suddenly, he caught sight of a flash of yellow appearing in his line of vision. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The leader of the monkey troop, a somewhat plump monkey, had come to the beach where Wang Yu and the others had departed, bouncing and waving in their direction with a toothy grin. Wang Yu smiled gently and extended his hand in farewell. The monkey, seemingly more agile than before, exhibited a newfound vibrancy in its eyes, its fur now devoid of any blemishes. Clearly, the sea beast's tentacles he had previously provided had had a significant effect, enhancing its bloodline after consumption. Wang Yu sensed the monkey's desire to accompany him, yet after some contemplation, he decided against it. With the dragon egg already in his possession, he had no intention of nurturing another spirit beast. Moreover, he found the creature's appearance rather unappealing. "I shall grant you this opportunity," Wang Yu declared aloud, "if fate permits. We may meet again. I shall protect you for a lifetime." Upon hearing this, a glimmer of joy appeared on the monkey's face as it nodded vigorously, seemingly comprehending Wang Yu's words. As evening descended, the cruise ship approached the nearest city to the small island. They had not encountered any further attacks from the sea beast along the way, allowing Wang Yu, He Yu-jun, and the others to disembark. They intended to travel to the capital of Papua New Guinea and catch a flight back to Huagua. The distance to Huagua was indeed vast, and the prospect of returning by cruise ship was far too time-consuming. Eager to return, they opted for the swiftest route. He Yu-jun, Shi Mengyao, He Chaoyan, and He Chaoxin had already booked their flights back to Macau, and it was now time aboard. He Chaoyan gazed longingly at Wang Yu, while He Chaoxin clung tightly to him, burying her small head against his body. "If it weren't for Daddy's poor health, my sister and I would definitely return to Modu with you," she said tearfully. "Wang Yu, brother, I will miss you. Fear not, should you wish to see me later. You are always welcome in Modu. You know where my home is," Wang Yu gently reassured, feeling helpless at He Chaoxin's reluctance. After a moment of contemplation, he pondered further. He retrieved a box from his bosom and placed it into He Chaoxin's palm. What is this? He Chaoxin gazed at the ancient, intricately patterned box in her hand, eager to open it. Yet, she was halted by Wang Yu's hand. Leaning closer to her ear, he spoke in a voice imbued with magnetism, whispering, "This is a miraculous elixir that can prolong life, intended for the esteemed He Hongxin. It is expected to extend his life by 12 years. What? He Chaoxin's hand trembled, nearly causing the box to tumble to the ground. She regarded Wang Yu with astonishment, her eyes brimming with disbelief. If her hearing had not deceived her, this box contained an elixir capable of extending life by 12 years. Such treasures are the stuff of legends. Do they truly exist? Could this be the invaluable artifact Wang Yu discovered in the cave on the island? He Chaoxin hesitated, instinctively reaching to return the box to Wang Yu. Brother Wang Yu, this is far too precious. I cannot accept it. The thought of receiving such a rare gift from Wang Yu filled her heart with sweetness, even as concern for her father's fragile health loomed large. The elixir was indeed a rare treasure, and she truly felt unworthy of it. He Chaoling's pupils dilated. The proximity to Wang Yu allowed every word spoken to resonate clearly in her ears. In response, she too declined, stating, "Indeed, this is far too valuable. We cannot accept it." Wang Yu sighed inwardly, pondering how He Hongxin would likely regret having such two precious daughters if he were aware of their refusal of such a life-saving gift. Were He Chaoling and He Chaoxin's feelings for him truly so profound, or did they simply disregard He Hongxin's well-being? It was a comical situation. "Please do not refuse. I possess many of these," he urged. He Chaoling and He Chaoxin exchanged hesitant glances, suspecting that Wang Yu was merely jesting. Throughout history, items that could extend life have been a lifelong pursuit of emperors, cherished beyond measure. How could he possibly have an abundance of them? Wang Yu, feeling exasperated, realized he needed to employ his trump card. "Just accept it as a gift from my future father-in-law." At his words, a flush of crimson blossomed on He Chaoling and He Chaoxin's faces, as if they might bleed from the intensity of their embarrassment. They ceased their resistance. He Chaoxin quietly placed the box in her bag, cradling it protectively. "Brother Wang Yu, I adore you." Both He Chaoling and He Chaoxin rose on their toes, bestowing gentle kisses upon his cheeks before retreating. "And here is a healing elixir for you as well." To ensure safety, Wang Yu produced another healing potion, which had cost him 50 points. Who could say if the longevity elixir would be beneficial to He Hongxin, given his already frail condition? Having an additional healing potion would provide an extra layer of security, preventing the potential waste of the longevity elixir. With over 100,000 points at his disposal, he could procure more than 100 longevity elixirs, collectively capable of extending life by over 1,000 years. The prospect was indeed staggering. He thought nothing of the additional 50 points spent. Should the elite families or any ancient beings learn of his possession of longevity elixirs, it might very well ignite the flames of a third world war. For the sake of those over 100 longevity pills, it is entirely worthwhile. Those old monsters, who spend lavishly in pursuit of life, would undoubtedly go to any lengths. To them, human life is utterly insignificant. In the distance, Wang Xikong and Qin Fen pointed and laughed at the three overly affectionate individuals, their eyes glimmering with envy. Only the somewhat disheveled Zhang Zhenren displayed a flicker of unusual interest as he glanced at Wang Yu. Passengers in the airport passed by, astonished at the trio of handsome men and beautiful women, filled with envy and frustration. One must understand that He Chaoyin and He Chaoxin possessed looks that embodied true goddess-like beauty, not to mention their illustrious family backgrounds. For ordinary individuals, pursuing such figures would be akin to digging up ancestral graves. Yet at this moment, both were nestled in Wang Yu's embrace, their faces flushed with shyness, inciting envy among the onlookers. A dark-skinned man, witnessing this scene, clenched his fists, the veins on his thick arms protruding with anger. He sought to confront Wang Yu in front of He Chaoyin and He Chaoxin to demonstrate what it meant to be a real man. However, as he made a move, he was swiftly subdued by the bodyguards accompanying He Yu-jun, who covered his mouth and dragged him toward the restroom. "Damn it, does he think we're still in our homeland? Being so arrogant. Beat him to a pulp." Wang Xikong, irked, informed the captain of the bodyguards. "Zhang Zhenren, this is something I procured through connections from a local aristocrat. Would you care to indulge?" Wang Xikong presented a bottle of Romani Conti, a smile on his face. While his peripheral vision caught Zhang Zhenren's tattered robe, the cuffs still clinging to a withered leaf, and his feet clad in worn-out cloth shoes. In this opulent airport, he appeared utterly out of place. Although Wang Yu's respect for this old Taoist was puzzling, he sensed that this individual was far from ordinary. Accompanied by several bodyguards and the esteemed Zhang Zhenren, they ventured into the heart of the island's forest, undoubtedly amid some significant occurrence, though he remained unaware of its nature. Noticing the unfolding scene, Qin Fan hastily opened an exquisite food box containing a roasted chicken, its golden, glistening skin radiating an enticing sheen under the lights, filling the air with a mouth-watering aroma. Zhang Zhenren, this roasted chicken has quite the pedigree. Qin Fan beamed, his tone obsequious. I specially sent someone to procure this from the Chinatown here. It's an absolute old brand. A century-old marinade slow-cooked, then meticulously roasted over fruitwood charcoal. It is said that even the president here has once requested to taste it. Please, indulge. The flavor is sure to satisfy you. As he spoke, he eagerly offered a pair of silver chopsticks, his gaze fixed intently on Zhang Zhenren, adopting an exceedingly humble demeanor. You two youngsters are indeed amusing. Zhang Zhenren did not decline, taking the roasted chicken and devouring it heartily. Wang Xikong promptly poured wine, exchanging knowing glances with Qin Fan. Qin Fan discreetly signaled with his hands, and the two engaged in their most practiced bar routine, flattering Zhang Zhenren profusely. Chapter 427. What is so remarkable? He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin, filled with reluctance, bid farewell to Wang Yu with forced smiles illuminating their faces. Brother Wang Yu, we will return to find you soon. Do not forget us. Farewell. As they departed alongside He Yu Jun, Shi Mingyao boarded the plane, and Wang Yu turned away. Wang Xikong and Qin Fan remained, lavishing compliments upon Zhang Zhenren, behaving as though they were mere attendants, pouring wine and massaging shoulders. The obsequiousness they displayed caused Wang Yu to feel a wave of nausea. When did they become so sycophantic? They needed to summon the audacity befitting their affluent upbringing. Nevertheless, it must be said that these two were perceptive enough. Without requiring detailed introductions, they had already surmised much. This respect they exhibited was indicative of their understanding. It can be asserted that one's standing dictates their perspective. Were they ordinary individuals, they might have felt embarrassed to be in the airport lounge with Zhang Zhenren. Wang Yu shook his head, at a loss for words. Brothers, it is nearly time. Let us prepare to board. Wang Yu approached with a chuckle. Wang Xikong and Qin Fan did not spare him a glance, continuing their conversation. Zhang Zhenren, are you residing at Longhu Mountain? We must visit you when the opportunity arises. Please, take your time with the drink. I shall fetch you more. Enough, enough. That will suffice, Zhang Zhenren said with a smile, waving his hand. Hurry along now. If there is no pressing matter, do not disturb my tranquil cultivation. Less noise would be appreciated. At that moment, Wang Yu respectfully addressed Zhang Zhenren. I must express my gratitude to you for traveling such a great distance on my behalf. Just remember that, young man, Zhang Zhenren replied, having made the journey primarily due to the influence of the Wang family. He was interested in the entirety of the Wang clan. With Wang Yu as the heir, his visit was not in vain. After a moment of contemplation, he jovially remarked, the Taoist tradition will hold the Luotian Grand Ritual at Qingqing Mountain next March, and the current Celestial Master of Longhu Mountain will also attend. I wonder if you would be interested in witnessing it? Luotian Grand Ritual? Wang Yu inquired, puzzled. If I recall correctly, it should have been held this year. Why has it been postponed to next year? Ah, that is beyond my knowledge, Zhang Zhenren replied, shaking his head with an inscrutable smile. Ultimately, Wang Yu consented. He needed to deliver items to the Celestial Master, so attending would serve to broaden his horizons. He had yet to witness the grandest ceremony of Taoism. However, the postponement of the Luotian Grand Ritual struck him as peculiar, as he recalled that in his past life, issues surrounding this ceremony had precipitated a catastrophic natural disaster, causing untold suffering and loss of life. Recalling that calamity made Wang Yu want to complain. His life had nearly been forfeit. Yet in this lifetime, his presence assured him that whether or not disasters would recur, he had the system at his disposal. If necessary, he could expend some points to procure special medicines. Fortunately, his mother's company was among the largest pharmaceutical enterprises in all of Huagua, and as long as he could obtain those special medicines, reverse engineering would not take long before they could ramp up production. Unable to stir up a tempest, after bidding farewell to Zhang Zhenren, Wang Yu, Wang Xikong, and Qin Fan boarded the aircraft, naturally in first class. As for Zhang Zhenren, he headed to the capital city, reportedly still with unfinished business. Once on the plane, Wang Xikong and Qin Fan prepared to sleep, as darkness gradually enveloped the world outside. Though this was the capital of Papua New Guinea, its poverty was palpable. The lights of the skyscrapers were scarce, hardly comparable to the brilliance of the magical metropolis. At most, it resembled a second or third-tier city back home. The clock had struck 6 in the evening, and at the current flight speed, they would arrive in the magical metropolis around 9 the following morning. Wang Yu, invigorated, felt the evening was still young, unlike Wang Xikong and Qin Fun, who were weary from a day of travel by boat. The flight attendants aboard the foreign airline were simply unbearable to behold. Initially, he had hoped for engaging conversation during the long journey, but after a mere glance, he lost interest entirely, feeling too fatigued to even critique their appearances. He took out his phone to chat with Long Lily, Renning Shuang, and Karina, informing them of his return. It had indeed been quite a while since he last visited, and he found himself yearning for home. Thanks to Wang Yu, the Shadows, and Ying and Xiao also enjoyed the privileges of first-class travel, situated just behind the three. Although danger was unlikely, the two remained vigilant in turns. Time slipped away like a fleeting shadow. The next day, at Pudong Airport in the magical metropolis, the group disembarked the plane and made their way through the VIP passage toward the exit. Long Lily appeared in a tailored light gray business suit, complemented by a silk white blouse and perched upon a pair of sleek black patent leather high heels. Her demeanor was frosty, devoid of mirth. Amidst the crowd of greeters, she stood out conspicuously. Numerous confident gentlemen attempted to engage her in conversation, only to be met with her indifference. Those who persisted soon recognized the futility of their efforts upon encountering her cold, unyielding gaze, retreating awkwardly. Under her haughty aura, no man dared to approach within a 3-meter radius, deliberately keeping their distance. Suddenly, her previously frigid visage blossomed into a radiant smile, causing her aloofness to vanish in an instant. The onlookers, taken aback, watched as she hurried over. "Husband, you're finally back. I missed you so much." Long Lily, in her 10-centimeter heels, moved gracefully and leapt into Wang Yu's embrace. "Be careful. Watch your step," he instinctively said as he wrapped his arms around her slender waist, his gaze drawn to her footwear. "Is it a pair of curries?" He chuckled and leaned in to kiss her lips. Despite the bustling airport filled with people, Long Lily responded to Wang Yu's affection without a hint of hesitation. Wang Xikong and Qin Fun trailed slightly behind Wang Yu, witnessing the scene with gritted teeth. Feeling utterly speechless about Wang Yu's audacity, Wang Xikong leaned against Qin Fun, vexed. "Seeing so many high-quality women around him, I couldn't help but feel vexed." Qin Fun also sighed. Who can say otherwise? These women genuinely like him, not merely drawn to his wealth. Is it just because he is a bit handsome and tall? Indeed, there was nothing remarkable about it. Yet, the eyes of Wang Xikong and Qin Fun were filled with envy. During this time, influenced by Wang Yu, Wang Xikong had attempted to genuinely connect with deserving girls. Consequently, he had refrained from logging into his social media filled with female admirers, opting instead for his personal account to avoid incessant disturbances. However, after this endeavor, Wang Xikong realized that such an approach heavily relied on looks, which did not suit his peculiar disposition. Reluctantly, he had to abandon this pursuit. Chapter 428. Energy-saving and environmentally friendly. At this moment, pedestrians in the airport halted their steps, and a hush gradually fell over the surroundings. They were taken aback by the sudden smile of the icy beauty, all eyes turning towards Wang Yu. "Oh my gosh, it's Wang Yu." Wang Xikong and Qin Fun were also present. No wonder that celestial beauty suddenly smiled. It was because she spotted Wang Yu. Until a gasp shattered the atmosphere, the crowd surged forward, excitement bubbling over. Phones were raised instantaneously. Several young girls squealed as they rushed toward Wang Yu. "Young Master Wang, can we take a photo? Please give me your autograph." "Young Master Wang, look over here." Unexpectedly fortunate, I encountered Wang Yu right after disembarking. That girl must be Wang Yu's girlfriend. No wonder she looked down on those men try to flirt. If it were me, I wouldn't be interested either. What is there to be proud of? Once I visit Korea, with my looks, I'll surely capture the heart of the idol, while you all chase after Wang Yu. I could also seek a photo with Wang Xikong and Qin Fun. Amidst the crowd's commotion, two exquisitely made-up girls suddenly burst forth from the side. Yu Ming, with her fair skin glowing under the lights, shrieked in a sweet voice, "Look, everyone, I wasn't lying. Wang Yu is really here in Shanghai." The lucky draw in the top left corner has already begun. Follow me to stay updated. Beside her, Jean Ku-er, clad in a crop top, had her live-streaming equipment swaying wildly as she ran, deftly sliding her fingers across the screen. Everyone, don't forget to follow. The livestream, which initially had thousands of viewers, surged to hundreds of thousands as soon as Wang Yu appeared. This was merely one live stream room. The barrage of comments flooded the screen like snowflakes. Who wants to see Wang Yu? Not me. The host could lower the camera a bit more. It doesn't seem matter to me whether I see Wang Yu or not. Who is that girl beside young Master Wang? They look quite intimate. She exudes a strong aura of a workplace queen. It seems she was only slightly less elegant than Yi Chaoyan and her companions. Wang Yu cast a glance towards the shadows, signaling, and the figure subtly guided the two hosts to the optimal shooting position. They had all been arranged by Wang Yu in advance. In order to ensure a live broadcast at the moment he exits the airport, it is all about gaining notoriety. A staggering 50 billion in recognition, yet remains uncertain when that will be achieved. Wang Yu can only strive to maximize his exposure across the internet. During this period, Jingtuan Capital has already acquired the companies where Jin Kuer and Yu Ming are employed. Wang Yu can now proudly claim to be their employer. Why not take advantage of it? They are now his exclusive streamers, and whenever they have free time, they come to his location to broadcast. After taking photos with several enthusiastic fans, they finally exited the gates of Pudong Airport, escorted by bodyguards. Wang Xikong and Qin Fan bid farewell and parted ways. Wang Yu then entered his Rolls-Royce Cullinan, with Jin Kuer and Yu Ming following suit. The engine roared to life instantly. Boom, boom, boom. The engine awakened like a beast, and the vehicle sped towards the Celestial Palace with great haste. Glancing at the camera on his phone, a smile graced Wang Yu's lips as he addressed the barrage of comments. Allow me to clarify the question posed by a dear friend. The enchanting lady you refer to is Long Lily. She is my girlfriend and also the vice president of my company, Jingtuan Capital, in addition to being my personal secretary. Indeed, following his overseas trip, Wang Yu decided to appoint Long Lily as the vice president of the company. He was quite pleased with how well she managed the company during his absence. With her in that position, Wang Yu could rest easy and indulge in the role of a hands-off manager. Seated in the front, Long Lily was taken aback by Wang Yu's proclamation, exclaiming, "Darling, did you just say that? When did I become the vice president? I am currently appointed." Wang Yu found her surprised expression, with her mouth slightly agape, utterly adorable, contrasting sharply with her imposing outfit. "No, I am merely your secretary. I cannot assume the role of vice president. If I say you can, then you can. Do not refuse," Wang Yu insisted. Witnessing Wang Yu's assertive demeanor, Long Lily felt compelled to retract her objections in front of the online audience, swallowing her words. The viewers in the live stream erupted in excitement upon hearing this revelation. Is this what it means for a domineering CEO to step into reality? This is simply too impressive. If I say you can, then you can. Oh my, everyone, this is love. Miss Long Lily's contrasting charm is absolutely delightful. Just moments ago, she was the icy queen, and now she resembles a startled little kitten. Who understands this? I am envious. While others receive handbags from their boyfriends, Wang Xiao gifts the position of vice president in a listed company. Perhaps the nation should classify domineering CEOs as endangered species, prohibiting them from appearing in public to spare us ordinary folks from suffocating in envy. Stop being jealous. It's not our fault you don't possess charm. Jean Kuer leaned in with her phone, capturing Wang Yu's wrist adorned with $1 million Patek Philippe watch. Wang Xiao, you must be mindful. The viewers are unable to handle this. At that moment, both she and Yu Ming gazed at Long Lily with envy. For so long, Wang Yu's attitude remained elusive. As of now, neither of them could claim the title of his girlfriend. The gaze directed at Wang Yu was filled with deep resentment. What a heartless man he was. However, it would be impossible for them to abandon Wang Yu and turn their affections toward another man. Even if they had experienced but a fleeting moment of joy with the true dragon, they could not resign themselves to consorting with mere beasts of the mountains. Even without a hopeful outcome, they were reluctant to relinquish their feelings. Wang Yu merely smiled. Soon, the vehicle arrived at his residence in the magical metropolis, the Sky Pavilion. After parking, Wang Yu turned to the still-seated Long Lily in the car and instructed, "You should head to the company and inform them that I have a meeting this afternoon. All leaders must be present." "Understood, boss," Long Lily replied earnestly. With that, Wang Yu opened the car door, stepped out, and made his way to the underground garage beneath the Sky Pavilion. Jin Kuer and Yu Ming followed closely behind. The Rolls-Royce turned around and departed from the Sky Pavilion. As the camera panned across the parking lot, onlookers were left in awe. Bugatti, Apollo, Koenigsegg Agera, Porsche 918, Lamborghini Aventador, and Ferrari LaFerrari. Oh my heavens, such an abundance of luxury vehicles. The total worth of these cars must easily amount to several hundred million. Most wealthy individuals do not possess such assets. What an otherworldly scene. The maintenance costs for these vehicles alone are astronomical. I do not envy them at all. Their fuel consumption is far too high. Nothing compares to my shared bicycle, efficient and environmentally friendly, One onlooker lamented, shedding tears of envy. They knew of Wang Yu's extensive collection of luxury cars, but were astounded by the sheer number. Was this truly the world of the affluent? Chapter 429. A visually healing sight. The live chat was filled with exclamations of astonishment as viewers envied Wang Yu's ability to acquire such a plethora of luxury cars. Videos of him driving these opulent vehicles frequently surfaced online. The last time at car exhibition, he had extravagantly spent nearly $100 million to purchase a Bugatti Chiron. Yet, upon witnessing the entire garage filled with luxury cars, they could not help but feel a sense of shock. Jean Coeur observed the live stream's popularity soaring toward 1 million viewers, undoubtedly establishing herself as the top sensation. Yu Meng's stream, while slightly less popular, comfortably held the second position. Satisfied, Jean Coeur and Yu Meng strolled around the cars before joining Wang Yu in the private elevator. The shadows, along with the dark hawks, trailed behind and pressed the button, causing the elevator to ascend. Moments later, they arrived at the top floor, the doors slowly opening with a chime. Wang Yu raised his eyes and beheld the imposing entrance, where the Wolfang team stood dutifully, their posture straightening upon his arrival as they respectfully greeted boss. Wang Yu nodded lightly. Once the bodyguards opened the grand door, he stepped inside. It had been some time since his last visit, yet the home remained immaculate, thanks to the cleaning staff arranged by the property management. After settling onto the sofa, Jean Coeur and Yu Meng set up a phone stand before him, thoughtfully pouring him tea. In the current live broadcast, the popularity has surged, and the special effects of GIF have not ceased even for a moment. Coupled with the barrage of comments from fans, the stream has begun to experience lag, making it nearly impossible to discern the content of the messages. Although this luxurious mansion is not my first encounter, its opulence continues to astound me. Goodness, why are you all still focused on the house? The male idol is so striking and affluent. My eyes are solely on him. It's truly amusing. The value of this furniture likely surpasses that of my own home. What absurdity! While I harbor no envy towards other aspects, I must admit that I genuinely admire the lengthy fish tank, measuring over 10 meters, behind Wang Xiao. Upon reading this comment, Wang Yu, with a slight smile, remarked, I haven't tended to this fish tank much. It's mostly Long Lily who comes by to feed them when she has the time. Let me show you. Jean Coeur picked up her phone and followed Wang Yu to the front of the aquarium. The tank, approximately 10 meters long and 1 meter wide, resembled a glassy water curtain embedded in the wall, crafted entirely from ultra-white crystal glass, appearing as if it were in natural formation. The bottom of the tank is not cluttered with gaudy colored stones, but instead is adorned with a layer of light gray volcanic rock. With a few dark green water ferns nestled in the crevices, their roots gently unfurling in the current like emerald ribbons that someone carelessly dropped. Within the tank, there are no ostentatious goldfish or koi. Only hundreds of black-tailed big hooks swim together, resembling a flowing nebula of ink. These fish are diminutive, about the length of a finger, their silvery bodies shimmering under the light, while their tail fins are a deep, unfathomable black. As they swim, the dark tails create lively symbols upon the water's surface. At this moment, sensing Wang Yu's approach, the school of fish suddenly swirled in a different direction. The synchronized flick of hundreds of tails caused delicate ripples across the water's surface. Unlike the flamboyant dragonfish, these creatures prefer to meander through the roots of the water ferns, swimming back and forth with unending delight. Wang Yu turned to retrieve a small silver-gray jar from the built-in storage cabinet beside the fish tank. The jar bore a gold-embossed foreign label, resembling a container for some imported coffee powder. When he twisted off the metal lid, a sound resonated, instantly capturing the attention of the black-tailed big hooks, which all turned in unison towards him. These little beings possess remarkably keen eyes. Wang Yu pinched a handful of amber-colored feed, the pellets round and plump, and scattered them into the water. The previously orderly school of fish erupted in chaos, as hundreds of black-tailed big hooks surged towards the direction of the falling feed, their silvery bodies stirring up a turbulent vortex in the water. The dark tails undulated within the swirling mass, creating the illusion of someone scattering twinkling stars upon the surface. A few fish that managed to seize the feed quickly darted away, chased by their companions, causing the entire tank to bubble and the leaves of the water ferns to sway gently. Observing the lively scene within the tank, Wang Yu's smile deepened as he tossed another small handful of feed towards the opposite end. The school of fish instantly pivoted direction like a battalion responding to a signal, transforming the previously competitive area into an expanse devoid of life. Save for a few uneaten pellets gently sinking, claimed by the small fish concealed within the crevices of volcanic rock. Holding her phone aloft, Jinkir's hand quivered slightly, capturing the ethereal trails of the fish weaving through the blue light as a flurry of comments flooded the screen. It felt so soothing. I too longed to be among the fish in the pond, indifferent to the provision of feed, merely content to observe. My mild case of trypophobia was somewhat overwhelmed, yet I couldn't help but marvel at the harmonious blend of blacktails and white bodies. The water quality was astonishing. The scales of the fish were crystal clear. My own aquarium becomes murky like a mire after just 3 days without a water change. Is there anyone knowledgeable among us? What would the cost of this tank and its inhabitants amount to? A year and a half one myself. Surely it would reach upwards of 100,000, at the very least. But do you truly have the space for a tank measuring over 10 meters? With a smile, Jinkir commenced a tour of Wang Yu's home. Their previous visit had been fleeting, leaving many viewers lamenting the lack of thorough exploration. The first impression was one of spaciousness and brightness. Beneath their feet lay a Persian carpet, renowned for its exorbitant price, coveted by the affluent. A single meter typically exceeds $30,000, often merely adorning a small section of a bedroom or living room. Yet in this celestial palace, such carpets were omnipresent. Just these carpets alone could easily cost tens of millions of Chinese yuan. At the entrance, they were casually placed in the shoe-changing area, with no concern for dirt or damage. There was no sense of cherishing. The audience in the live stream, having been educated by others, began to grasp its value, their hearts aching at the sight of the carpet beneath Jinkir's feet. This was no mere carpet. It was akin to treading on wealth. Jinkir and Yumei, aware of the $200 million value of the mansion, discerned what the viewers yearned to see, inadvertently revealing the carpet beneath their feet instead of immediately exploring the bedrooms. Instead, they ventured into the garden. The live stream erupted in excitement, with the chat inundated with 666 comments. At that moment, they found themselves at a loss for words to articulate their emotions. The iconic architecture of the Magic City seemed almost within reach. This was merely during daylight. One could only imagine the awe of witnessing it from this angle and height at night. The riverboats glided along the waterway. Jinkir slowly rotated her phone, capturing the scenery of the Magic City, a vast canvas unfurling before their eyes. Especially from several hundred meters above, gazing down on the entire city felt as though one were treading upon it. It was no wonder this house commanded such a hefty price. Viewers in the live stream began to understand that merely gazing out at the view sparked a desire to purchase a similar abode once they attained wealth. I am utterly astounded, lost in a daze, as I rise to pay homage to the grandeur before me. Were it not for Wang Xiao, we would never have had the opportunity to witness such opulence, reserved solely for the affluent. I dare not even dream of such splendor. It truly transcends the limits of imagination, resembling the mansion of my dreams. I finally comprehend why the wealthy proclaim that the world is a beautiful place. If I were to reside in such a home daily, I too would perceive the world through a lens of beauty. Consider this, if you will. It is rumored to be worth several hundred million. Poverty indeed constrains the imagination of many, and the house where Wang Yu resides leaves them in awe, yearning to experience its allure firsthand. The atmosphere within the live stream grows increasingly fervent, with the platform's algorithms amplifying the excitement. The combined fervor of the two streaming rooms has surpassed 10 million viewers. This is nothing short of astonishing. It is solely due to Wang Yu. Coupled with the lavish residence showcased in the stream, that Jinkir and Yumeng, despite speaking little, have achieved this remarkable level of engagement. Even though they were already aware of Wang Yu's popularity, witnessing the spectacle on their screens still rendered them speechless. Yumeng and Jinkir, holding their phones, captured the breathtaking scenery outside, directing the camera towards the garden. The barrage of comments from viewers overflowed with exclamations, expressing that to live here would indeed fulfill one's life's desires. Subsequently, they began filming the interior of the house in detail. Jinkir and Yumeng had prepared meticulously, providing insightful commentary. The audience in the live stream was nearing a state of numbness, as seemingly mundane pieces of furniture could be valued in the hundreds of thousands. The luxury goods and antiques Wang Yu had previously auctioned off were casually displayed around the premises, leaving viewers wide-eyed in disbelief. A mere refrigerator could be worth over $1 million, with walls adorned with expensive spirits, adding to the staggering value. The audience, left in shock, found themselves rendered speechless. Despite having witnessed similar scenes multiple times before, they could not help but gasp in astonishment at Jinkir and Yumeng's presentation. Although they are streamers with substantial incomes, in a city like Shanghai, they would only be considered middle class. The opulence displayed within the rooms felt painfully out of reach, a world they might never enter without Wang Yu's influence. Class is not a barrier that can be breached by a few days of streaming. Next, Jin Kuo and Yu Ming guided their millions of viewers through the entire residence. The climate-controlled pool, billiards room, esports room, and study, showcasing various luxurious settings. The live stream was filled with exclamations of awe and astonishment, a cacophony that had not ceased from the outset. This is what a mansion truly is. This is the dwelling befitting someone of Wang Yu's status. Countless viewers, after witnessing this spectacle, found their minds reeling, unable to return to their senses for an extended time. Some young girls couldn't help but dream, imagining how splendid life would be if they could reside within such a luxurious mansion. Jin Kuo and Yu Ming glanced at the barrage of comments on their phones, feeling a twinge of melancholy. Wang Yu had already shared several intimate moments with them, yet their status had not elevated in the slightest. They understood that his identity as a streamer did not grant them any additional esteem in his eyes. The likelihood of truly becoming his girlfriend seemed exceedingly slim. Nevertheless, even with the faintest glimmer of hope, they were unwilling to surrender. After touring this opulent residence, valued at 2 small fortunes, Jin Kuo and Yu Ming settled in the living room before Wang Yu. Once they secured their phones, the camera was directed at him. Yu Ming initially sought the perfect angle to showcase Wang Yu's most handsome features, but upon closer inspection, she realized it was entirely unnecessary. Wang Yu was impeccably handsome from every angle, his face devoid of any flaws. The viewers in the live stream erupted with excitement upon his appearance, particularly the female audience, who were utterly enamored by this man. They showered him with gifts as if they cost nothing, the effects of their generosity nearly overwhelming the live stream. Most of these gift givers were women, including affluent patrons whose financial prowess was not to be underestimated. In a bid to capture Wang Yu's attention, they employed the strategy of gifting, eager to make their presence known. After all, it was evident that they were captivated solely by his visage. Wang Yu, leisurely sipping his tea while observing the surging popularity of the stream, felt a smile tug at the corners of his mouth. The response to the live stream appeared promising, boasting a viewership in the millions. Although many external observers were impressed, Wang Yu remained unsatisfied. He yearned to stoke the flames of this success further. With a subtle glance, he indicated to Jin Kuo and Yu Ming to retrieve another phone. After a brief flurry of activity, they positioned the camera to face themselves. At this point, nearly everyone at Huaguo was familiar with Wang Yu. Only the few who seldom ventured online, mostly the elderly or young children, remained oblivious, making efforts to engage them seem futile. However, the overseas market was vast, and few knew of Wang Yu. Jin Kuo and Yu Ming accessed an international live streaming platform, having pre-registered their accounts and began broadcasting. They were already known for their striking appearances, and coupled with Wang Yu's exceptional looks and the exquisite mansion, they were bound to attract a following abroad. With sweet smiles, Jin Kuo and Yu Ming greeted the camera and introduced themselves, leading to a surge of hundreds of viewers joining the stream. Unsavory characters were ubiquitous, even abroad, and this suddenly emerged beauty live stream captured their attention instantly. After their introduction, they proceeded with the planned sequence, showcasing the luxurious residence. Isn't that view outside breathtaking? Could this be a part of Magic City? Is that building the Central Tower? I visited this place during my trip to Huaguo last year. Chapter 431. This is what I deserve. Let us momentarily set aside Jin Kuo and Yu Ming and focus on the vibrant interactions occurring in the live stream. The enthusiastic viewers in the chat room have become the focal point of Wang Yu's attention, and the popularity is rapidly surging. Typically, when such a multitude congregates, one might expect the emergence of detractors. However, no negative comments have surfaced, and the barrage of messages remains remarkably clean, save for a few abstract musings. Wang Yu finds himself bewildered by some of the peculiar inquiries posed by the viewers, who seem to have a knack for asking the most outlandish questions, often eliciting both laughter and exasperation from him. The most frequently asked questions revolve around his family background and his romantic relationships. Naturally, he refrains from divulging too much about his family, but he is willing to share a few words about his girlfriend. With the watchful eyes of 2 smartphones upon him, Wang Yu counted his fingers and mentioned the 2 sisters, He Chaoyin and He Chaoxin, along with Long Lily and Rin Ningxuan. After a brief moment of contemplation, he looked up with a smile and remarked, "It appears there are currently 9. Not too shabby, I suppose. Given the time that has passed, this is a decent number. I shall strive for more in the future." Indeed, Wang Yu excluded Jean Kuo and Yu Meng from this count, deliberately refraining from acknowledging them as his girlfriends. He planned to further test the system later, curious if they had been counted, thereby accomplishing his task and potentially earning additional points. Upon hearing his words, the viewers erupted in excitement. Did you just hear what you said? 9? Is that really satisfactory? Good heavens, anyone deemed worthy by Wang Xiao must be an unparalleled beauty. Are you truly not content with that many? They exclaimed. At 30, I have given up on finding a girlfriend. Such is the plight of the less fortunate. Yet here is Wang Yu, a wealthy individual with a prospect of 9. How utterly unfair. My own failures evoke a sense of regret. But the success of others brings me even greater anguish. The thought of Wang Yu sharing a bed with these stunning women fills me with despair. I cannot allow you to touch them. Wang Yu chuckled at their dramatic responses, finding the antics of these amusing viewers quite entertaining. His earlier comments had cast a shadow over the atmosphere of the live stream, striking a chord with many who felt a profound sense of disappointment. The bitterness in their messages was palpable. Why are you all so distressed? While I may have multiple girlfriends, none of them are true love. Consider this. My situation is not as enviable as it may seem, he said, choosing to speak against his better judgment in an effort to preserve their self-esteem. Is it true that even the wealthy cannot find true love? Well, handsome, why not take a look at me? I'm utterly smitten, one viewer declared. Damn it, that's right. Those women must surely be in love with Wang Yu's wealth, nothing more. Absolutely. Another chimed in, a kind-hearted soul. I almost took the stairs down to buy cigarettes. But thankfully, I found renewed confidence to carry on. Hey, why are you all so melodramatic? Wang Yu is merely joking, and you take it to heart. Besides, do He Chaoyan and He Chaoxin truly lack money? As the barrage of comments erupted, the once lively live stream descended into an abrupt silence. Love, which had been readily embraced, now felt tainted. Why must I accept that Wang Yu not only possessed their bodies, but also captured their hearts? Wang Yu gazed at the screen, leaning back with a smile, and declared, my achievements today are solely the result of my own efforts. I have earned every bit of this. He believed that a lifetime of virtuous deeds and the burdens of exploitation by unscrupulous capitalists had led him to this moment. In his view, this was the purpose of the system. Perhaps this is the reason. Have you ever contemplated whether you have exerted effort in your pursuits or fought for your goals? Have you given your all for those aspirations? Upon hearing Wang Yu's words, the live stream was flooded with question marks. A sea of confusion and impending outrage brewing among the audience. Some may argue it was merely bad luck, that their efforts went unrecognized. Wang Yu, with a nonchalant smile, proclaimed, today I offer you a chance to become a millionaire. The previously skeptical viewers, who deemed his earlier remarks nonsensical, fell silent in an instant. Subsequently, a flurry of flattery ensued. Brother Wang, your words resonate with such sincerity. I knew you were no ordinary person. I must have been out of my mind earlier. Please forgive my folly. A bold comment broke through the wave of questions, soon followed by a cascade of agreement. Yes. Whatever you say, young Master Wang, is absolutely right. How can we understand effort like you do? Please enlighten us about this opportunity. I'll quit my job immediately to pursue it. I must have been blind to doubt you. Allow me to bow thrice in apology. Given my earnestness, will you take me under your wing? They were truly desperate for wealth, pleading for guidance to prosperity. I've always known I lacked ambition, waiting for someone like you to show me the way. What's a millionaire? Following you, I could become a billionaire. The question marks I posted were not for me. Truly, I've always believed your insights are profoundly wise. Effort is indeed crucial, but what matters most is having a mentor like you. From now on, you shall be my leader. With a single word from you, I would traverse mountains of blades and seas of fire without hesitation. Such is the nature of the online community. Their loyalties shift with astonishing rapidity. Those who once sought to criticize became instant followers of this newfound leader. The opportunity to earn money was remarkably simple. Just a few words sufficed. Wang Yu stepped away from the camera, turning to retrieve something. Wait a moment. I'll be right back. It seemed he noticed their inquiries about his whereabouts, his calm voice resonating. Instantly, the viewers felt reassured. Meanwhile, some astute individuals began sending private messages to Jean Kuo and Yu Meng, showcasing their strengths or expressing their willingness to endure hardship and gratitude. The girls found it much simpler. They shared alluring photos and flirtatious messages, hoping to catch Wang Yu's attention. A millionaire? Lacking for the young ladies. Wang Yu is the talent they truly admire. Once they succeed in becoming Wang Yu's girlfriend, does wealth remain a concern? Even if one were to become a millionaire, such an opportunity pales in comparison to the prospect of being Wang Yu's partner. Furthermore, Wang Yu inherently embodies the type that women are most drawn to. This intensifies the fervor. Once the live broadcast concludes today, if Jean Cour and Yu Meng were to access the backend, they would discover a plethora of beautiful photographs emerging in the system. Among them, there are even images of men. Chapter 432, Neither Gold Nor Iron Nor Stone. Unbeknownst to Wang Yu, the barrage of comments in the live stream had thinned considerably. In stark contrast, the backend was abuzz with activity. He held a finely crafted sandalwood box in his hands, settled back onto the sofa, and glanced at the screen before him. The viewer count remained impressive. Yet the comments were sparse. Furrowing his brow, he smiled and said, "Apologies, I was away for a bit longer than anticipated." The online viewers noticed the box that Wang Yu had placed on the coffee table and began to comment. "Didn't you say there was a chance to earn money? Why is there just this box? I understand now. There must be some business secret inside. What sort of information could be worthy of such an exquisite box? I'm going to send you rockets. 10 of them. No, make it 100. Please don't leave me out. I have elderly family members and young ones relying on this opportunity. Divine One, could you kindly enlighten us? We wish to see." Wang Yu chuckled, looking at the box on a coffee table. He tapped it lightly and said, "The opportunity to become a millionaire is contained within this box. I'll give you a hint. It holds an antique. If you can guess what it is, type your answer in the comments. The first person to arrive at the correct answer will win 10 million Huaxia coins." Observing the silence that had enveloped the live stream, Wang Yu slowly began. "You all know my character. I needn't to elaborate further. Now, commence your guesses. The countdown begins. Half an hour." As Wang Yu's fingers tapped on the sandalwood box, those who had been momentarily stunned by his words gradually began to type. "Is what you say true, young master? Just guessing one item for such a sum seems implausible. Enough of that. Don't you trust young master's integrity? Hurry and guess. This is a chance to effortlessly become a millionaire. Miss it, and you'll find no second chance." However, the realm of antiques is vast, making the guessing game exceedingly challenging. Thus, the viewers resorted to haphazardly naming notable antiques. For this is something Wang Yu had meticulously collected, surely not mere ordinary items worthy of his esteemed collection. In short order, a flurry of guesses emerged. Regardless of their accuracy, for who knew? Map of Gigu descending the mountain, the legendary imperial seal, blue and white dragon-patterned elephant ear vase, portraits of emperors throughout the dynasties, Wang Shiji's lament on the death of my son, diagram of the 28 constellations. What could it possibly be that eluded so many guesses? It seems that this 10 million is indeed not easily earned. Amidst the fervent speculation surrounding the exquisite treasures of the Qingming Shanghe, the Ru Kiln brush washer, and the golden threaded jade garment, the live stream unexpectedly displayed 2 notifications adorned with golden dragon patterns, their brilliance rivaling that of dazzling fireworks. User Wang Sikong, the proud owner of a Siberian husky, entered the live stream. User Qin Fan entered the live stream. However, rather than welcoming them with the enthusiasm they deserved, the viewers appeared oblivious, entirely disregarding their arrival. Their minds were consumed with conjectures regarding the mysterious box before Wang Yu. Wang Sikong exclaimed, "What is this? Just a few days offline, and you've forgotten me?" Qin Fan chimed in, "Old Wang, it seems no one remembers me either. What's going on?" Observing this, Wang Yu couldn't help but smile, saying, "Old Wang, old Qin, your timing is impeccable. I was just engaging the audience in some games when you arrived. But heed my warning, do not reveal the answers. If the information leaks, the 10 million is on you." 10 million? Wang Sikong and Qin Fan were momentarily bewildered, struggling to comprehend the situation. However, as the barrage of comments in the live chat began to elucidate the circumstances, Wang Sitsong's spirits lifted. He was pleasantly surprised by Wang Yu's generosity. A sum as grand as 10 million just to facilitate a game was truly remarkable, even for the son of a billionaire. Wang Sikong remarked, "Since Wang Yu is so generous, you must take advantage of it. Here, as a hint, this item is exceedingly precious." With just a glance at the box before Wang Yu, and noting its size and his demeanor, Wang Sikong deduced its nature. He had even handled such an item before. Qin Fan joined in the teasing, eager to provide the audience with a clue. "Since Wang Sikong has given you a hint, I shall share one too." The audience watched intently, awaiting his words. Wang Sikong had declared it precious, which was rather redundant. If it weren't, would Wang Yu have chosen to collect it? They hoped Qin Fan would offer something of real value. After building suspense, Qin Fan began typing on his phone. "This item is neither gold, nor iron, nor stone. The moment it is unveiled, I believe every citizen of Hua country would cherish it. If Wang Yu is willing to purchase it, I debid 500 million without a second thought." Wang Yu chuckled and shook his head. That is practically a blatant hint. If you still can't guess, that S on you. He then glanced at his wristwatch, a Vacheron Constantine, and said, there's still 15 minutes left. Opportunities to become a millionaire are scarce. You must put in the effort. Allow me to offer you another hint. This item was acquired at an auction. As soon as he uttered those words, the comments flooded the screen. Neither gold, nor iron, nor stone. What could it possibly be? Could it be a meteorite that fell from the heavens? 500 million without blinking? It must be extraordinarily precious. Is it a national treasure in the form of a painting or calligraphy cherished by the people of Hua country? At the auction, I was pondering. Last month,